What a nice hat. A listener just, Gary, one of my Patreon supporters, he sent me this hat. I just got it this morning. He mailed it to the radio station. I like this hat.
From Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855.
Is that a cool hat?
3782.
Oh, man. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. We got a lot to talk about.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Call the show toll-free. Dial 1-888-GO-GAIN-1. That's 1-888-GO-GAIN-1. And now.
Yes. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. This year celebrating 45 years on the radio, The Steve Kane Show. Welcome one and all. It is Monday, May the 9th, 2022, and we got a lot to talk about today. I got a package from one of our listeners, Gary, and he sent me this awesome hat. I love this hat. This is a great hat. Trump DeSantis 24, and then it says, Make America Florida. I like that. Trump DeSantis 24, Make America Florida. That's awesome. This is a nice hat, too. Yeah. I'll get a lot of use out of that hat. Oh, man. I don't have a Trump DeSantis hat. Now I do. So thanks, Gary, for the hat. I appreciate it. I'll be wearing that one. All right, well, we do have a lot to talk about. And speaking of the great governor, Ron DeSantis, the governor of the free state of Florida, big story. I saw today there's a story in the Wall Street Journal, and there's a story in today's New York Post about Governor Ron DeSantis. Governor DeSantis has been disinvited and banned from a Holocaust memorial at New York City's Museum of Jewish Heritage. This is insane, people. This is insane. You know, the left, they're unhinged. They've got Trump derangement. They've got DeSantis derangement. They're just deranged. And let me go through this. This is an opinion piece in the Wall Street Journal, and there's also an opinion piece. Well, let me read the one in the New York Post. The New York Post is shorter. You know how the New York Post is. There's an opinion article by Carol Markowitz in today's New York Post. I've never seen Carol spelled with a K, K-A-R-O-L. First time I've seen Carol spelled that way. But yeah, she writes here in the New York Post, when New York City's Jewish Museum bans DeSantis, it sends a clear message to all Jews. Yeah, I would say so. What do you think that message is? You know, the greatest defenders politically in America of Israel are Republicans, not Democrats. It was Trump who moved the embassy to the capital of Israel, the American embassy. Yeah, right? It's Christians who stand up for Israel. You know, you go to church, most churches have an Israeli flag in there. You don't see that in liberal circles too much, do you? Listen to this. History shows us this. I'm going to read this opinion article from the New York Post. History shows us that forced ideological conformity never ends well for Jews, but liberal Jewish institutions keep wanting to give it another go. In a Wall Street Journal piece, Elliot Abrams and Eric Cohen, respectively, chairman and CEO of Tikva and co-chairman of the Jewish Leadership Conference, reveal that Manhattan's Museum of Jewish Heritage canceled a planned event because Florida Governor Ron DeSantis was an invited speaker. You know, they hate Republicans, they hate conservatives, they hate MAGA so much, they canceled the whole event just because DeSantis was invited to speak. Abrams and Cohen write, we were working closely with the museum on the details for the June 12th event until out of the blue, yeah, literally, right, Democrat blue, we were told by the museum staff that Mr. DeSantis did not align with the museum's values and message of inclusivity. Either we disinvite the governor, they said, or our event was unwelcome. Can you give me an example of Ron DeSantis not supporting inclusivity? What are they, we know what they're talking about, right? The parental rights bill that's been dubbed the Don't Say Gay bill, which is it does not even say gay in the bill. The museum pushed back. On Twitter, the museum said it wasn't free speech or a censorship issue, but simply a contractual and logistical decision, which doesn't actually contradict what Abrams and Cohen are alleging they put on the Twitter. The museum made the contractual and logistical decision to deny rental space to Tikva, an organization that has hosted many events at the museum, because DeSantis was to be a speaker. It's not free speech or a censorship issue, since that implies the government is stopping the speech. And that is clearly not happening here, they write. Thinking it's smarter than everyone else, the museum added a carefully worded tweet saying, "We welcome Governor DeSantis and elected officials from across the spectrum to visit the Museum of Jewish Heritage, a living memorial to the Holocaust, for a tour of our new exhibition, The Holocaust, What Hate Can Do," when it opens this summer. So he's speaking there at this museum. They have this new exhibit, The Holocaust, What Hate Can Do. And what are they doing? Giving us a real-life example of what hate can do? They hate Republicans. They hate Trump. They hate MAGA. They hate conservatives. They hate DeSantis. So are they trying to show what hate can do, disinviting the great governor of Florida? Well, if that's what they're trying to do, if they're trying to give it a real-life example of what hate can do, they've accomplished that. It won't block DeSantis if he buys a ticket as a tourist and takes the tour of the museum. But you cannot host the governor for an event at the museum, they say. Abrams and Cohen write that they chose Ron DeSantis because a remarkable Jewish renaissance is underway in Florida. And the writer of this opinion piece in the New York Post says, it is. Our family is part of that renaissance. We moved from New York to Florida in January, in large part because of Governor DeSantis' leadership. His COVID policies were at the forefront of our decision. But DeSantis fighting woke nonsense in schools and putting parental rights at the top of his agenda have also been positive. And our governor takes the safety and security of Jews in his state very seriously. Oh boy. In 2019, I wrote in these pages, this is the New York Post author, again and again and again, that Jews were being assaulted in New York, and our elected officials barely mentioned it. Then Mayor Bill de Blasio kept blaming imaginary Donald Trump supporters, who apparently exist in a far larger numbers in New York City than anyone had ever known. Then Governor Cuomo would also offer lip service after every attack. Both men, however, enjoyed ratcheting up the rhetoric against Jews when they blamed the Jewish community for the COVID spread of 2020 in New York. Yes, they did. But Governor DeSantis simply does not play when it comes to the safety of Jews in the state of Florida. Last June, legislation assigning millions of dollars in funding for various Holocaust memorials included $4 million in security funding for Florida's Jewish day schools, including for the first time ever funding for professional security. Governor DeSantis said, "I'm proud to sign these bills to help protect religious freedom in Florida and increase the safety and security of our Jewish communities. I will continue to make sure that in Florida we root out anti-Semitism and that every day we show our support for Israel and our Jewish communities." Meanwhile, the museum allowed, this is the museum in New York that banned Ron DeSantis. Meanwhile, the museum allowed a 2018 event with AOC, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, about a month after she was famously forced to dial back her support of a two-state solution in Israel, as leftist thought does not allow for Israel's existence at all. Does that align with the museum's values? Is this the ideology we must all be forced to adhere to before renting space at the museum? When a Jewish museum bars Ron DeSantis for having the wrong opinions, they bar me and so many other Jews, conservative or otherwise, too. We know that if he is unwelcome, we are also unwelcome. What can hate do is driving Americans apart. Anyone still funding the Museum of Jewish Heritage should think long and hard about whether that's something worth supporting. And this is the opinion article which I tweeted this morning on Twitter. See, this is what the left are all about. The left, who tell you they're tolerant, are the intolerant crowd. In fact, the reason that the liberals believe that we need all these special protections is because they think everyone is as much of a hate-mongering bigot as they are. Remember, many years ago, I realized this. Steve and I we had a meeting with a reporter at the Sun-Sentinel newspaper here in South Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, downtown Fort Lauderdale, and top of this big, huge building, and we met him at the main lobby of this very liberal newspaper. And it was an interesting thing. They had the employees of the month. They had photographs of the employees of the month all over the walls of the lobby. And they were all white except one. All the employees of the month that month were white except one, who was the employee of the month from the department that put the newspapers in the plastic that are thrown out on people's doorsteps to protect them from the dew in the morning. Yeah, right. And, of course, all the major departments, they were all white. And I realized then why liberals support affirmative action, which can be transferred to this thing here with Ron DeSantis. Liberals support affirmative action because they think everyone is as much of a bigot as they are. That if there's not rules and laws and regulations and federal edicts, that people will discriminate against minorities because they do it. Right? Why do you need affirmative action in the liberal universities? If the university system is liberal, shouldn't it already be a utopia of diversity? Why do they need quotas in a place that is a liberal utopia, our university system? Liberals at all levels, no matter what their background is, are consumed with hate. These liberals in New York, they canceled an entire event because the great governor of Florida was an invited speaker, tells you everything you need to know. Right? What Can Hate Do is the name of their exhibit at the museum. And they are out there hating on people that they don't agree with. If you don't agree with them politically, you're not allowed to speak. Isn't that what was going on in the 1930s in Germany and in the 20s? In Germany? Yeah. And they're bringing it here, the leftist, and they don't see it. They don't see it. They're so consumed with their hate, they're blinded by it. All right. Well, it's a new week. Welcome, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. We got a lot of issues to talk about on the program today. We're going to get into a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, man, I tell you. No, nothing the liberals do is surprising. There's no doubt about it. But that doesn't mean we're not going to highlight all of the disgusting things that they do. Now, of course, the BOGO extravaganza continues at MyPillow. Oh, man, this is your time to load up on MyPillow products. The BOGO extravaganza, BOGO buy one, get one free, is going on so many products with the promo code Kane. And tomorrow I'm going to bring in my new Giza Elegance pillow. My wife and I, because they're BOGO, we ordered 4 of the MyPillow Giza pillows, which are just spectacular. I could buy one, get one free. It's an upscale MyPillow, and I was skeptical. Like, how can you do better than the MyPillow, the MyPillow that started it all? Until I put my head down for the first time on that Giza Elegance pillow. Oh, man. You know, inside that Giza Elegance pillow, which is buy one, get one free with the promo code Kane at checkout, it's made with the patented interlocking fill inside from MyPillow. It really is upscale on the outside with this piped lining that goes around it. It's made of 100% Giza cotton, the same cotton from those sheets, which tells you how perfect that it is. Comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee, a 10-year warranty, and, of course, machine washable and dryable, and it's absolutely amazing. There were many other specials. Go to mypillow.com, Click on the radio listener specials. There's a lot of other BOGO specials, too. You know, there's My Pillow blankets. Did you know this? That's right. There are several types of My Pillow blankets that are buy one, get one free. Several types of blankets. More than I even realized they had. The My Pillow 6-piece towel set. Buy one, get one free. The My Pillow 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets. Buy one, get one free with the promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, KANE. We'll be right back after this.
Listen to the Neil Rogers Show, afternoons on WWNN Talk Radio.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. How would you like to have instant access to a Medicare advocate at the touch of a button? You can for less than $1 a day with I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will assist you with doctor appointment scheduling, pharmacy issues, billing problems, plan.
Good morning, everyone. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. And everyone, please like the video.
Family, and they go to bat for their family when you need them the most. Let them be.
Well, you get a free copy of Mike Lindell's book with every purchase. When you use our promo code KANE, no matter what you buy at MyPillow.com, you get a free copy of Mike Lindell's book.
No matter where you're located throughout the state of Florida or
Oh, awesome, Rome.
954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Brian Craig here with a huge announcement from the Thomas Edison of sleep, the inventor of the My Pillow, Mike Lindell. And My Pillow are now offering a BOGO extravaganza on multiple My Pillow items. Right now at MyPillow.com with our promo code KANE, KANE at checkout. Buy one, get free pricing on My Pillow bed sheets, Giza Elegance My Pillows, the 6-piece My Pillow towel set, and the My Pillow Roll and Go Anywhere My Pillows, and so much more. Just go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio listener specials. Use the promo code KANE, KANE, at checkout, or call toll-free 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879.
Traveling and need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is located in the Sandalwood Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
Alrighty, 22 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Welcome back. Our number, toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. Now, yesterday, of course, was Mother's Day, and the liberals spent their weekend on Mother's Day on all the weekend cable news shows talking about ways to stop women from becoming mothers through their meltdowns over the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And Tiffany Cross over on MSNBC, she is, and this is a bold statement, she's the most racist woman on television, cable news. She is. If you ever watch her show, oh my goodness, she is just consumed. She just, when you hear and see her talk about race, she gets so animated because she can't even see straight. And she, of course, was talking about the overturning of Roe v. Wade and adoption. Listen to this. I want to talk about this. This is some really sick, twisted stuff.
Whole notion that women should have children and just let the kids get adopted. Well, that's not always a safe route, particularly for black and brown kids. Black kids do not get adopted often. We have stats on it.
Okay, well now before I play the rest of it, just so you know, Steve and I between Steve and I between the two of us have 7 African American children. Right? Steve has adopted 6. Well, he's got No, actually, he's adopted 3. We got 4 African-American children between Steve Kane and I. Steve's adopted 6 children. Some of them are white. 2 of them are. 3 of them are? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Yeah, he has 3 black kids. It's hard. He has so many. But she says it's not always a safe option. So listen to what she says in the beginning here. Listen to this. Okay, now what is she talking about? Adoption is not always a safe route for black and brown kids. Now, she's not going to give us any examples of how that's unsafe. I'd like her to know. So, is she saying, of course, there's no one there on this panel because it's a panel of liberals. What Tiffany Cross is saying, and I must say, for a liberal black woman obsessed with race to have the last name Cross, that doesn't seem very sensitive. That seems that having the last name Cross for a liberal black woman, that seems to be a trigger word that liberals are obsessed with. But anyway, she is saying she does not believe adoption for minority children is safe all the time, which is absurd. But anyway, she says that. So it's better for the women to have abortions? Hey, I got news for you. The abortion, Tiffany Cross, it is never safe for the child. So what is she talking about? They're better off aborted than born? That's what she's saying.
Look at the stats of who gets adopted. It is disproportionately white children. There are currently tens of thousands.
Well, there are more white children are adopted than black children. That is true. Do you know why that is? Why are more white children adopted than black children? Why do you think that is? That's what she said. More white children are adopted than black children. You know why? Because there's more white children. You know, Steve has this saying, figures don't lie, but liars can figure, right?
This whole notion that, women should have children and just, let the kids get adopted. Well, that's not always a safe route, particularly for black and brown kids. Black kids do not get adopted often. We have stats on it. There are often kids who stay in the system for a long time. When you look at the stats of who gets adopted, it is disproportionately white children. There are currently tens of thousands of children, hundreds of thousands of children in the foster care system who are just being shuttled through. So okay, because there's kids and kids are better off aborted and never born than be in the foster care system? Is that what she's suggesting? Foster care system who are just being shuttled through. So when people say that's a right, what would be your response? Or that's a better path for women, what would be your response?
I'm all for adoption, don't get me wrong, but just like your stats are right there, the proof is in the pudding. There is no rush to adopt black babies or brown babies. Let's be clear about that. I don't think it...
Oh my goodness. Wow, there's no rush to adopt black or brown babies. Well, why don't you go out and adopt some babies then? Listen, someone like Tiffany Cross, I would love to have been on that panel. Steve has 3 black and brown children. I have my daughter, only 1 child. Black, she's brown. What do you think her thoughts are on interracial adoption? I've said for years that on the program here that one of the problems with I have one big issue with the pro-life movement. One big issue with the pro-life movement. You might be wondering, how can you have an issue? They're doing the great work. They are, but they don't talk and promote adoption enough. And a lot of people, there are so many stereotypes against adoption. A lot of guys are like, I can't raise someone else's kid. It must come from my seed. That crap. And interracial adoption is discussed and promoted even less than adoption in general. And if the pro-life movement would spend more time promoting adoption, that would be incredibly productive. And the reason that there are not more children adopted is because people don't understand adoption. They have a lot of negative thoughts about adoption that are just absurd. They think it's so expensive, it can't be done, they can't afford it. None of that is true. Yeah, that's it's a very easy process. Yeah, and boom, there are more children available for adoption than parents to adopt them, and there's no doubt about it. But a lot of that is because in our society, adoption's not really promoted properly. That's why Steve and I talk about it. A lot of times people think, oh, you and Steve, you talk about your black kids because you want to have like immunity to say things against black people. No. We talk about our Steve talks about his adoptions. I talk about my daughter because we are promoting adoption, in particular interracial adoption. Okay? That's why we do that all the time. Not so we can say whatever we want. We can say whatever we want anyway. This is America. All right? But, yeah. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on all of this at 1-888-GO-CANE 1. 888-465-2631. But she's a real twisted woman. She thinks that children are better off never being born, being aborted, than to be adopted or be in the foster care system and everything else. I know a lot of people that are, my sister was a foster parent of 4 or 5 kids. I can't remember, 4 or 5 kids. And they were all from the same birth family, and she raised them all, right? And that's So there are a lot of foster families out there that are good people and good parents. That is really Tiffany Cross has a sickness. She has a sickness. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, Sandra from Indiana.
Sandra from Indiana. What's on your mind?
About this adoption issue. For one thing, race will never go away when you have people like her constantly perpetuating racism. Another thing, how many black couples actually are adopting black babies? Because I see more white couples with black children.
Minority families don't adopt very often because there's a lot of this stigma with Hispanic men and black men. I can't raise a child unless it comes from my seed, So there's a lot of that going on. Then
people like that woman should shut their mouth and quit complaining when a black child is adopted by a white couple, because they are chosen children. When you adopt a child, it is because you want to give a child a home and you want to give a child love and a mother and a father. So
oh, yeah.
like her, shut their mouth, because my daughter was adopted.
Well, my guess would be Tiffany Cross would be very much opposed to interracial adoption. White people like me adopting black kids. She would not like that at all.
She would be opposed to anything that deals with race.
She's a segregationist. She just doesn't know it. She's too angry to even realize what she is.
Right. That's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Well, listen, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. All right, our number toll-free, 888-GO-CANE 1, 888-465-2631. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig. That's right. This is Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be back after this.
Talking, complaining, kvetching, arguing. It's just another day on WWNN Talk Radio.
Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Stacy from Deerfield Beach. This is in reference to Campaign Automotive. I went over there. They're wonderful. I have a Kia Optima Echo Hybrid. When I called, it needed service. I didn't want to bring it to the dealership because they would charge me through the roof. And basically,
good morning, everyone. If you're just joining us, make sure you're subscribed and like the video.
He didn't overcharge me. He went through my car, and I would recommend anybody to go to him. He's absolutely
We're
amazing.
just getting
Well,
started.
Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca, they do great work, and I want to thank you for calling. And I learned something about Champagne Automotive Repair from you in this call. I did not know that they actually did repairs on hybrid vehicles.
What had happened was when I brought it to the dealership, they were like, well, we want to do this, we want to do that. And when I heard about Champagne Automotive, I called. When I got there, and I said, he goes, well, I already ordered the oil filter.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. And so I dropped it off. I don't have many people to take me back home. And so he ordered Uber for me.
Wow.
Yes.
That's service. Thank you for the call as well. And anyone else out there, Champagne Automotive Repair, their prices are great. They'll never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. Their number is 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. And what's your name, caller?
My name is Stacy, and thank you very much, Champagne Automotive. And thank you very much, Brian and Steve.
For Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca, 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
Alrighty, 35 minutes after the hour, it's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Welcome back, everyone. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. So Tiffany Cross wasn't done. Let me play that uninterrupted, the clip I just played, and then she had a follow-up. Listen, this is part 1 that I played before the break.
The whole notion that women should have children and just, let the kids
Steve
get
Kane Show.
adopted. Well, that's not always a safe route, particularly for black and brown kids. Black kids do not get adopted often. We have stats on it. There are often kids who stay in the system for a long time. When you look at the stats of who gets adopted, it is disproportionately white children. There are currently tens of thousands of children, hundreds of thousands of children in the foster care system who are just being shuttled through. So when people say that's a right, what would be your response? That's a better path for women, what would be your response?
I'm all for adoption, don't get me wrong, but just like your stats are right there, the proof is in the pudding. There is no rush to adopt black babies or brown babies. Let's be clear about that.
Well, not by these ladies. Okay, so that's what I played before. Then she went to one of her other panelists. Listen to this woman. Same panel, Tiffany Cross. They're again, spending Mother's Day weekend obsessing over how women cannot become mothers.
I don't think anyone with a penis should have any say unless it's someone that me or that pregnant person includes into that decision. And moving forward, when dealing with women's health care and people with vagina, when I say women, I'm including non-gender conforming individuals and trans women. So if you are someone who does not have a vagina, if you don't have a uterus, you should not be making any decisions, any opinions, unless you are a medically trained and schooled doctor, period. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Okay, so if you do not have a uterus, you should not render an opinion on abortion. How many women out there do not have a uterus who have had it removed, right? A lot of women have all their parts removed, including the uterus. No more opinions on Roe v. Wade for you. Tiffany Cross's show says no uterus, no opinion is allowed. Interesting. Segregated opinions. Only women with uteruses may render an opinion. Last time I checked, men have to be involved, by the way, to get a woman pregnant at some point in some way. All right. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
Democrats and liberals have a long history of being racist. Think about it. I mean, look, the abortion movement was born out of racism.
Mm-hmm. Margaret Sanger.
Margaret Sanger was a known racist. So when it shouldn't surprise you that Tiffany Cross and these other women spout this stuff. And think about this. This should be, I mean, I'm not, trans, whatever, but these trans women should be very much offended at what Tiffany Cross said.
Mm-hmm.
Trans women deserve to be able to adopt kids. Deserve that, I mean.
Well, I don't know about Tiffany Cross, but when I see a panel of women like this that are obsessing over abortion, it seems to me that they may be dealing with some trauma and looking for a way to justify something they may have done in their life, if you know what I mean. I'm not saying Tiffany Cross has had an abortion, but she's a little passionate over the issue for someone who has not been involved in such a thing.
And let me address what you were talking about with Ron DeSantis and the museum up there. It goes back to the whole liberals and racism thing. When the Ku Klux Klan was going around doing what they were doing, what was one of the groups that they were racist against?
Jews, yeah.
The Jews, yeah. So I mean, and like I said, the Democrats have a long history of being racist.
Mm-hmm.
And so it shouldn't surprise. I don't know who runs that Jewish museum up at.
Liberals run the Jewish Museum in New York. Yes, liberals.
Yeah, in New York. And look, think about this. A lot of New Yorkers have moved down to Ron DeSantis' free Florida, and I would assume that a lot of those New Yorkers are Jewish.
Of course.
So if you're insulting Ron DeSantis by doing this, you're insulting these Jewish people that have moved down to New York.
That's right. Well, Mike in Louisiana, take care. Thanks for the call. Now, I want to take a moment to talk about Dr. Mitch Matez at the biostation and hormone replacement pellet therapy. I want to talk about the ladies first. Are you a woman who's suffering from menopause? Oh, man, the night sweats, the mood swings, hair loss, lack of sex drive. That's right, vaginal dryness, which makes sex impossible or extremely painful for women. The signs and symptoms of menopause. I believe menopause is the number one cause of divorce. What do you think, guys? Because women, they lose it with the menopause. They lose their minds. They get moody, crazy. Hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Mitch Matez at the biostation in women not only 100% completely stops the signs and symptoms of menopause, but 100% reverses them. That's right, mood swings gone. Night sweats gone. Vaginal dryness, that's gone in reverse too, and you can figure out what that means. And there's other benefits too. Energy increase. Your figure improves. In men, I've been a patient of Dr. Matez for 6 years now. Well, how do you think I'm so energetic at my age so early in the morning? And I'll tell you, hormone replacement pellet therapy can turn a man like Biden, who's checked out, into an energetic Trump-like figure. I'm serious about that. I'm serious, very, very serious. It's a dramatic change in people when I've seen them before and after hormone replacement pellet therapy. Works wonders in both men and women. And when you call Dr. Matez's office at the biostation and tell them that you heard about Dr. Matez on the radio, it's a completely free consultation. If you missed this number, go to stevekaneshow.com and click on our sponsor page. 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893. It's not unusual for a spouse or significant other to bring in their wife, their husband. It's not. You guys are suffering from menopause too, right? Yeah. 561-320-8893 for Dr. Mitch Matez at the biostation. Good morning, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Louisiana.
Hey, Louisiana, what's up?
Hey, man. You doing all right this morning?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I was wondering, you think DeSantis is going to run for president in 24?
No, he will not run against Trump. He's said that many times.
I think he will.
But even though so you think Ron DeSantis is lying to everyone? The The only way he will run is if Trump doesn't. He's talked about this many times.
Okay, I don't know. For some reason, I think he still is going to run.
Uh-huh.
It can't. Okay, I got a quick question. I don't know a lot about this. With Trump being a resident of Florida and DeSantis, can they both run?
Yes. George W. Bush, and Dick Cheney were both from Texas, and they were president and vice president.
Okay, I was curious.
You're desperate to find a way. Yeah.
If you do what,
Oh, you don't care?
like I said, he makes. I think he's doing all this because he's setting up the run, and I don't care.
Well, if Trump were in the White House right now, Ron DeSantis would be our nominee, but Trump is not. It's not his time.
I still think he's going to run. I think he's setting. I think the governor of Texas is setting himself up to run. I think DeSantis is setting.
So President Trump has endorsed and backed both of the guys you're talking about. So no, they're not. They have both said they will not run against Donald Trump.
Hear what they say. I don't trust them both. What they say. I think they both. I think they won't. They won't.
Who do you trust? Who do you trust?
Fine. I'm not saying. What I'm saying is they're saying that right now, but when it comes down to it, I think they both going to run.
At some point, well, they're both running for governor, and I'll tell you, President Trump is running in 2024, and neither of those gentlemen will oppose him in the primaries if he chooses to run. But you've said that 4 times. I know you got to tell yourself something. But Donald Trump is the most popular president in the history of the presidency. He had another rally in Pennsylvania, the Dr. Oz rally, over the weekend, in an all-day rainstorm. People waited in an all-day heavy downpour for President Trump. President Trump will run and win in 2024. Get used to it.
I'm not used to it. I don't care what city you want to go.
A lot of those people what? What were you going to say? A lot of those people what?
A lot of those people, I mean, that's what they want to do. I think a lot of those people, they are the ones that keep following them from rally to rally. I don't think that's new people. Maybe you may have maybe a couple hundred new people. I think that's people following from, because there's a lot of people say they go from rally to rally.
Well, a lot of people say a lot of things. You don't really know much. You just have a bunch of things you want to believe. Hey, listen, Louisiana, take care. It's time for a break. Oh, man. Don't forget, go to MyPillow.com. Take advantage of the BOGO extravaganza that Mike Lindell is offering with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. The MyPillow Giza Elegant Pillows, I've gotten 4 of those this last week. BOGO. The MyPillow Towel Set, BOGO. Buy one, get one free. The MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets, buy one, get one free. And there's a huge number of buy one, get free offers there. Go to MyPillow.com. Go to the radio listener specials. Use the promo code KANE at checkout for huge BOGO deals. And there's other deals there too. And a whole bunch of new MyPillow products available as well. All right, let's take our last break of the first hour. Callers on hold, stand by. Back after this.
We're South Florida's FM talk station, WWNN. 95.3 in Boca, 96.9 in Fort Lauderdale, 1470 AM.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? Maybe you do and you don't even know it. Do you have numbness,
Steve Kane Show,
burning, or tingling in your hands and feet? Muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching. Are you not sleeping? Does it feel like pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all.
Oh yeah, probably. Wouldn't surprise me.
Help at the Lighthouse Medical Center. Call 754-222-6642 for a no-charge consultation and say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. 754-222-6642. Online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com.
Jacqueline, $50 super chat. Everyone, please thank Jacqueline for that super chat. Thank you, Jacqueline. People need to mind their own business. Stop judging people. Pray, pray, pray. Kathy and Brian are a blessing, period. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I started doing the Bible study with Father Mike Schmidt. The Bible in a Year. Oh, man. Any of you guys follow? It's the #1 podcast in America, maybe the world. And it's gotten me back to praying.
Click on the radio listener specials. Use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout or call
It keeps you in check. Well, thank you so much, Jacqueline. Everyone, please thank Jacqueline for that super chat.
800-716-4879. The BOGO Extravaganza at MyPillow.com with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E at checkout. And with each purchase for free, you will get a copy of Mike Lindell's autobiography. Call 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. Or go to the radio listener special page at MyPillow.com and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E.
This is Scott from Cut My
We're
Pillow.
coming back.
Give me a call today to save up to 50% on your insulation and radiant barrier, and up to 35% on your electric bill. That's 954.
Now listen, that link at the top is my wife Kathy. She's got a music YouTube channel. That's what that link is. If you want to check that out and sub to it. Richie the bus driver. Hey Richie, good morning.
Good morning. I'm going to be a little controversial with you. I hope you let me get through this.
Well, it depends on what the topic is, Richie.
What you're talking about with the adoption, okay? I'd like to ask you a personal question, if you can answer. Why did you only adopt one child?
Financial. I mean, my wife and I. Good question. My wife and I adopted because my wife has a serious health condition, and we didn't want to pass it on to a child. And we only adopted one because we could only afford one child. I'm talking about raising a child. I'm not talking about the cost of adoption. And also because of my wife's health issues, she couldn't handle taking care of more than one child.
Well, you just hit the nail on the head. Now, I'm against abortion. And I figure when a woman says I should have the right to do it with my body, no, you don't have the right to say, you should say, do you have the right to kill a human being? Because now science says it's a human being. So you don't have a right, because it's your body, to kill somebody. Okay, that's the bottom line. Because everybody would be on the street killing whoever they don't like to eliminate them from society. Because so I'm going to get on a rant rather. But here's the deal: it costs $233,000. I just looked it up, by the way, from the age of 1 to 17 to raise a child. A lot of people can't afford it. The black community, there are a lot of black people.
Why could he ask that, Carol? Because he has no class.
They can afford adoption.
That's why. Well, that's why Steve has 7 children, 6 of which are adopted, right? When he first doing the first round of adoptions were with his second wife, he wasn't making that much money then.
But when he went to Publix or he went to the gas station, in other words, they have strangled us today. Young couples can't afford a home. They can't afford rent. So I don't think that anyone, I think that's a very personal decision, adoption. And the people that are against it are those who are on the outside looking in, not the people that adopt. The people that adopt are wonderful people, to give somebody a home. If they can afford it.
I know, he's getting
but
weird.
But you got to think, the situation.
Yeah, I don't know, this is like a strange call. I don't know. Where's the controversial part? You said you were going to be controversial.
Because you were up there saying that people should adopt. Now, I do know people that adopt interracially, and they love their children and they have a good life. It's the people on the outside looking at it that are criticizing you. They say that's wrong. Now, how many calls have you gotten, Steve, over the last? I'm listening. When
we adopted, when my wife and I adopted my daughter, and this was 23 years ago. My daughter's 23 now. Our adoption attorney, we used the same adoption attorney that Steve used for most of his adoptions here in South Florida, and there were black liberals who were harassing the law office because she allowed me and my wife to adopt interracially. Harassing for weeks and months. It was terrible. Terrible.
From basically black people see a white person raising a black child, they go nuts. And you've got calls over the last 20 years. Now listen, people that actually have hatred towards you for
yeah, people don't like it. Yeah, people don't like it. Yeah, I wouldn't even know what it. I wouldn't even be. To me, it would be weird to have a white child. It would seem strange. I wouldn't even know what to do. All right, Richie, Take care. Thanks for the call. Strange call from Richie. I didn't catch the controversy, but anyway, good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. I'm calling from Sunrise, Florida. How you doing, buddy?
All right, Sunrise, Florida.
Hey, listen, man. I'm not trying to sell anything because I don't work there, but I went to Friendly Tire. Listen, man, that guy Mike and his two guys that are with him working there, I couldn't believe the price I got on my tires. My car is running so smooth, and the tires, I don't know how that guy's even in business. The money that I spent, and I called Costco, Sam's Club, they wanted triple of what he sold me the two brand new tires for. So I wanted to thank you on that. The other thing I wanted to just say, I listened to you guys about a week and a half ago, and you were on the phone with Richie. He just got off the phone with you. But he did say something that made a lot of sense to me. And I watch the Trump rallies all the time. And Trump is getting a little too repetitious with some of this stuff, and you didn't agree with Richie, but I'm in all fairness, he is right about that.
Well, you're okay. Hey, listen, you said some good stuff about Friendly Tire, so I'm not going to give you grief. Did you buy new tires or used tires?
I bought used tires, and he went out of his way. He called me right back. The guy's awesome, man. The place it was a little hard to find. It was like in a little warehouse in Margate, and my GPS couldn't find it. So I finally asked somebody next door, and they said it's right over there. And the guy, everything, the whole experience was.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well,
it's been out of there in 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah, he's great. Well, listen, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Yeah, Friendly Tire in Margate, Friendly Mike, he'll give you a quote right over the phone, and he has thousands of used tires in stock. New tires as low as $70 a tire. And when you call Friendly Mike for a price on new and used tires, remember, that is out the door and on the road. He doesn't charge you to balance the tire, to mount the tire, or even dispose of your used tire, okay? He gives you the flat price out the door and on the road when he gives you a quote over the phone. I have bought both new and used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate. So give him a call. Here's his number. He will give you a quote right over the phone, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Friendly Tire in Margate. I will comment on what the last caller said. He said Trump's repetitious. Trump, I find, like I watched the Dr. Oz rally this weekend, and I thought it was fresh and new. You may hear him talk about things that he's talked about in the past, but he does that a little more than normal. When I say normal, usual than he was doing in the past, and there's a reason why. The reason he's being what you would call repetitious is because he wants to highlight the perfect country that we were living in under his presidency, even during COVID, compared to what we are suffering through now. My wife and I are cutting back on things we buy at the grocery store, okay? My wife sent me, I don't have it in front of me, she was showing me, someone sent her, someone was at the grocery store and saw Cheez-Its, and the price was incredibly high. They sent my wife a screenshot. I'll see if I can find it. I love Cheez-Its. You guys like Cheez-Its? Oh, man. That's like my favorite snack food, and they're too expensive. Get no Cheez-Its anymore. I went to the RV show at the South Florida Fairgrounds on Saturday, made a very good YouTube video about it, which, if you go to my YouTube channel, you can see it. It was a ghost town. I went to the RV show last year. Same show, same spot. The RV show this year was a tiny little thing compared to last year. Last year, they had, it may have been 15% the size that it was last year, the RV show. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I went there to make I went there last year, and I went back this year to make a YouTube video because all the cool RVs, and I took tours of these RVs that cost more than any house I've ever owned or lived in, I'll tell you. And it's a pretty exciting video. Check it out. But it's a ghost town now. Why? Because of the Biden economy. Biden has destroyed Joe Biden has destroyed the RV industry, right? Inflation is making it so people can't afford to buy RVs this year. And also, he's driven gasoline prices up so high, regular gas and diesel, people can't afford to drive the RVs. And I was shocked at how few RVs were there. And they didn't have all the dealers like they always do. Most of it was private sales. People trying to unload their RV. That's the Biden economy. And that's why Trump is what you would call repetitious, because he wants people, the media certainly aren't going to do it, to compare and contrast what we're going through now as opposed to his great and perfect presidency, his first term. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hey, this is Mike from New York.
Hey, Mike.
First of all, President Trump's endorsements, Brian, he's 55-0. No losses in the midterm primaries. So Ultra MAG is powerful, and the left can't stand it. And Richie and the guy we just called, what are they kidding? Are they kidding? Have they seen one of his rallies? It's 50,000 people in the pouring rain. You can't even see an empty seat. These guys are out of their minds. Everybody he endorsed has won so far. He's 55-0.
Yep.
Is he saying the same things over? I mean, it's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. It's like playing a basketball game and you're playing for the other team and you want to lose.
That's correct.
He has no idea what he's talking about with adoption. I mean, no, I know why he drove a bus. I know you like him, Brian, but he's so off. Section 8 is all over the place. If the two lesbians adopt a child, they get $1,800 per child if the child qualifies for any kind of disability whatsoever in our school system. They go to school.
Oh, in New York, yeah.
For free. Oh, Mike.
Well, I got to take issue with you, Mike. I got to take issue with something you said. Whatever gave you the idea that I like Richie?
Well, I mean, he called
I'm just taking a jab. No, I like Richie. I like Richie, and I told you guys many times when I was a teenager, when I was in middle school, and before I had my own car, I used to take the county bus all over town to the mall, to the beach, to the movies. And Richie, the bus driver, drove me around Fort Lauderdale many times. We didn't know each other, didn't know it, but I remember that big mouth. He had a big mouth even when he was driving the bus. Hey, Mike, I got to run, so I'll give you the last word.
Wait, give me the last word. I said to Richie, I never said anything. I know Richie has a wife and Richie has a dog. I was talking about that other guy who always said he's your favorite caller. In closing, wave a magic wand. Richie should have said that this solved the problem. 73% of blacks, they're raised without a father. 50% of inner city kids, they drop out of high school.
Yep.
So adoption is a plus for these kids.
Absolutely.
So right on the money. So for Richie to call to go against you, he's on the side of Sharpton and Cross. All right, Brian, you're the best.
All right, take care. All right. Thanks, Mike from New York. He's in the #1 radio market in America, New York City. And he's listening to the Steve Kane Show, not these supposed gods of radio in New York City. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
You're listening to WWNN Pompano Beach, 1470 AM, 95.3 in Boca, 96.9 in Lauderhill, the talk of South Florida.
Be right back, guys.
I checked the temperature this morning before I left. The high today is going to be almost 90 degrees here in South Florida. The hot weather, it's already here, and it's only going to get hotter. On the line from Cut My Kilowatts, we have Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. He's going to tell you how he can save you big money on your electric bill.
We're facing the onslaught of summer here, and a lot of people are going to be noticing that, if they haven't noticed already, that their air conditioner is just running non-stop, fighting to keep the house cool. A lot of times the air conditioner can't even keep up with the heat gain. Like you'll have the temperature set on your house at 74, and you'll look at the thermostat, it'll be at 76 or 77 or even 78.
Yeah.
Even as high as 80. So what we do is cutmykilowatts.com, and we've been doing Radiant Barrier in South Florida for 10 years. I mean, we did Steve Kane's house probably 10 years ago when I first started doing this in South Florida. Radiant Barrier stops the heat gain in the house, lowers the temperature in the attic 30 to 40 degrees, literally cuts the AC runtime in half, and a lot of money.
Let's explain to people what Radiant Barrier is. We have known Scott from Cut My Kilowatts for well over a decade. He's with us every summer here on the Steve Kane Show. In the heat of the summer, the attic, how hot does an attic get during the summer, Scott?
It can get, depending on what kind of roof it has, with a shingle or tile.
Steve Kane Show.
140, 150,
yeah, hold on.
160 degrees.
Yeah, and what that does is that 150, 160 degree heat in your attic makes your ceiling hot, and of course your air conditioning ducts are in your ceiling. It heats them up, and it makes your air conditioner work longer, harder, causing your electric bill going up, struggling to keep your house cool. So Scott has the radiant barrier. So tell people what radiant barrier is and how it works.
Radiant barrier is like a big aluminum foil tarp that goes on the underside of the roof deck below the trusses, so there's an air gap.
I've got a doctor's appointment at 9:45. I don't know if I'll have time with Barry.
Well, if you get me set up, if you have to leave, if he does, and then I'll just save it, and then you can give it to me. I'll name the file maybe Rich on the desktop. If you, yeah.
Same thing with radiant barrier. You put it in on the underside of your roof deck. It's like $1 a square foot. Maybe you've got a special, if you spend 1,000 square feet or more, you get an additional $500.
That's Rich Allen. He's the producer over at the radio station control room. I need him to help me do some production after the show.
We also do traditional insulation, and we do ductwork. So we can do like the complete job in your attic, whatever you need up in your attic. Insulation, ductwork, radiant barrier. We can do the whole package.
Now listen,
We do that for a lot of
it's getting hot today. It's going to be about 88, 89 degrees here in South Florida. We're not in the hottest heat of the summer yet. We will be soon. And because of that, Scott is offering a great discount before it gets super, super hot, because as it gets hotter and hotter, it's more difficult for his crew to work in the attic. Now it's not...
What do you agree with 1,000,000%, Jacqueline? What did I miss? Richie inhaled too many bus fumes? Well, if that's what you were talking about, I'll agree with that.
First, you can give Scott a call at 954.
Plus, I've spent a couple weeks at sea with Richie, so, on our cruises.
954-939-1500 online.
No doubt, D. I'm going to get to that in a little bit, D.
And again, listed at SteveKaneShow.com. Scott will save you money on your electric bill this and every summer. All right, Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, have a great day. We will talk later in the week.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-COCAINE-1. That's 1-888-COCAINE-1. And now...
Alrighty, we are back. Hour number 2 has begun. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Celebrating 45 years on the radio this year. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Thomas from Boca. Good morning.
Hey, Thomas.
I also like Mike from the Tire. He's a great guy. But anyway, that's not why I'm calling. Donald Trump is running. I don't know why people think anything different. I was at a screening last night.
Oh.
That it all depends on November, and we all thought the midterms. He goes, no, if I can dance at Tiffany's wedding, I'll be there. It's all based on his health. He's running, and that's it.
Yeah, and anyone who's been, if most of you have not been up close and personal with President Trump lately, like obviously Thomas has and I have, you see Trump up close, and I think you'll agree with this, because I'm not talking about on television. I'm talking about up close and in person. He looks like he is about 15 or 20 years younger than when he was in the White House. He is the only president that has de-aged during the presidency. Doesn't he look great?
He looks great. I mean, I was with him in many rallies over the 2020, and he had all that energy. He still has the same energy now. Speaking out, any young person cannot compete with him.
Well, that's why he's so successful. He's not a mortal man, and that's why he's took a $1 million loan that he paid back to his dad. How many of you paid back your parents ever, and turn it into $10 billion? But President Trump understands he's the only person that can do this. Now, let me ask you, the Pennsylvania rally, which was people waiting out in that heavy rain all day in Pennsylvania. He's 50-0 right now, President Trump, in his endorsements. Is Dr. Oz going to win this? And do you think in Pennsylvania?
I mean, I certainly hope so. I mean, it's different perspectives. I mean, Newsmax has him, you know, as a king. But yeah, I listened to you last week, and you were like, that he did terrible in that debate.
Yeah.
I think he did great.
Really? Yeah.
I mean, he did better than, but he's not a politician yet. I mean, he's getting into it just like Donald Trump did.
Well, I just saw a story today. Kathy Barnett, she's the woman that took him to task, who was the product of a rape, you know, in the debate, and they say she's surging in the latest polls. There's a new poll out. Jack Posobiec tweeted, there's a three-way tie in Pennsylvania between Oz, Barnett, and McCormick. Now, listen, no matter how this race turns out, it's going to be won by a Republican. But, man, I don't want to have any losses for President Trump.
If Donald Trump endorsed him, Donald Trump knows he's the one fit for that job. That's what people have to understand. Nobody's perfect, and they may disagree with him on a couple points, but who's going to best represent Pennsylvania and also be good in the legislature there to see the Trump agenda across, and he's the man.
Yeah.
Be a rhino, and like a lot of these people turn out to be.
That's right. Well, and you know, so far as President Trump running, I have no doubt in my mind he's going to run. If he does a sweep in the midterms, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out the next day and makes the announcement. That's what he's waiting for.
I mean, the only thing is it's something with his health, but he still got it.
Please.
I watched him. I've seen this man do cold weather. I've seen him doing 3 rallies in a day where he started off in 100-degree temperature, and then he wound up in Wisconsin, at the 20-degree temperatures, and he could be out there like he's jumping around, like it doesn't faze him. He's got that energy in him.
Well, plus playing golf, it gets you in shape. There's a lot of walking, and involved in that. Now he is. I know that they want to keep bringing health up, but I mean it. He looks a lot younger than when he was in the White House. He looks great, and he's lost some weight.
Yeah, he did lose a lot of weight, looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's not going to McDonald's as much or Big Mac.
I don't know.
Cokes are helping.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, Thomas. That I appreciate.
People, they want to start the rumors out there. Trying to he's not ready to run or he's not going to run or whatever. He's running. America needs him.
Well, they're trying to do this MAGA divided because Ron DeSantis is so great and perfect. They want to try to divide MAGA between the Trump and create a Trump faction and a DeSantis faction. And Ron DeSantis has said many times he will not run if Trump runs. It's not going to happen.
No, not going to happen. DeSantis is loyal, so there's nothing.
Trump is owed a second term. And he's the only person that can fix what's going on with this Republican establishment rat group, Republicans Against Trump. Well, Thomas, appreciate the call. Okay. All right. Now, did you hear that? He was up at Mar-a-Lago the other day and Friendly Tire in Margate. Doesn't that tell you everyone goes to Friendly Tire? From Mar-a-Lago to Friendly Tire. That's right. All right. Our number toll-free, 1-888-COCAINE-1. It's amazing. It's amazing. MSNBC, I played those clips earlier from MSNBC. I've got one that's very disturbing that I'm going to play. If you're on hold, stand by. But I know a lot of people out there. You may be in the car with the kiddies on the way to school, and parental alert here. Parental alert. This is from MSNBC over the weekend. It is a comedian making a joke about abortion. And I'm going to play it now, but I just want you to know that it may not be appropriate for little kiddies that you're taking to school, so you may want to turn the radio down for about 30 seconds, 60 seconds, okay? I think it's okay. I would let my kid hear it, but I just want to let parents know. Parental advisory. This is MSNBC. They're talking about the leaker, and not only did a comedian make a joke about an abortion, the MSNBC panel thought it was hilarious.
I don't think anyone with a penis should have any say.
Oh no, that's another one. That's a joke too. But no, here, great lead up to the clip and played the wrong one. This is the comedian on MSNBC making a joke about having an abortion.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, here's the thing. Here's my feeling about the leaker. I would like to find out who the leaker is so I could make sweet love to that person, because that person is a hero to me. Okay? And if the leaker, a lot of people are saying it could be a conservative, if the leaker is a Republican, and if I get pregnant during our lovemaking, I will joyfully abort our fetus and let them know. I don't know if that answered your question. I probably didn't.
It was a little off topic. It was a little. Go ahead, okay. Jen. Take this one.
Wow, that's MSNBC. That is sick and disgusting. And the entire panel, including the host, are red-faced with laughter. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Cassandra, Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Good morning. You know, these comedians, that's not a comedian. I don't know how the hell anybody can call that a comedian, man. These people, the whole left is just nuts. I've never seen it get worse than worse. These people, they don't know what to do with themselves. They just want to come up with nastiness and miserable things to say. Why? Anyway. You know, President Trump had that rally in the most miserable weather.
Oh.
All those people were there. You know, I would love to see a perfect day and have Biden out there, and they probably get 15 people, it's that many. I mean, nobody likes Biden.
And you know, this Pennsylvania rally, and you guys know I'm from Ohio, which is not Pennsylvania, but it's right next door. You know, here in Florida, unless we got a hurricane, like when it rains, it may rain hard, but just for a few seconds, you know, like a couple minutes. That rain in Pennsylvania, because I was watching the weather reports on YouTube from the local television stations, it was hardcore downpours all day long, and it was like being at that rally in Pennsylvania was like being on an episode of Survivor during a tsunami. You know, when you know what it's like when you're out in those huge raindrops and what it does to your skin all day long, and it turns it into a mud bowl, and they don't have the Florida heat that we have, so it's cold, and they still stood out there, and it was a jam-packed house when President Trump took the stage.
That's unbelievable. I mean, this guy is magnetic. Everybody loves him. Biden has not a chance of ever winning again. I don't think they have anybody to run. But Trump is going to have this landslide victory when he decides.
Oh, yes.
From what I hear, he just doesn't say he's running yet because of campaign finance rules. But if that's it, then everybody can't wait for him to come back. Man, we need him dead. And I also watched your RV video.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I didn't realize those things are so expensive, but man.
Well, I make a lot of vlogs. You guys, if you follow me on YouTube, I make YouTube vlogs all the time, going places and putting them up on YouTube, and I like making them, and I think I'm pretty good at making the vlogs, actually.
Very, very nice. I appreciate it. I was considering renting one because there's a place down by Broward College that rents them, but then I said, I don't feel like it.
There was, I didn't realize that Biden had destroyed the RV industry until I got there. But I went on, the most expensive RV that was there that I went inside of was $389,000, and it was used. Used $389,000. I couldn't believe that RV life ain't for me.
Not only that. You have to drive still, and once you drive, and that's work.
How many miles a gallon do those things get? I don't even know.
Man, that must be not many, because I got a Hummer only get 8 miles to the gallon.
Oh my goodness. Well, I've got my MAGA scooter that my 150cc MAGA scooter, and it costs me about $350 to fill it up, depending on the price of gas. Getting a little more expensive to fill it up every day, but I get 50 miles a gallon, a little more actually.
But you take your life in your hands on a scooter with these people driving down here, man. There's some real terrible drivers, but be careful.
Well, I'm very careful. I'm very careful, and I'm careful where I ride. I'm not on I-95, Yeah. All right. Take care, Conservative Doug. Thanks for the call. You too. All right. Oh, man. Let's take our break. First break of the second hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. You are, of course, listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Celebrating 45 years on the radio this year, the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Listen to the Uncle High Show, afternoons on WWNN Talk Radio.
Hi, Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. We survived the 2021 hurricane season. Now it's time to get...
Now, on my YouTube channel, I got a whole video about my scooter on this channel. You guys can check it out.
From asphalt, clay, and concrete, standing metal seam, flat roofs, and slate tile systems. Our building restoration offers complete envelope protection to include siding, stucco, concrete restoration, impact windows and doors, weatherproofing, and painting. Laporta Contracting serves single-family, multifamily, HOAs, and commercial properties. Call Laporta Contracting today for a free evaluation and estimate, and go to our website to see our team and past customer videos at laportacontracting.com. Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again is 954-604-4602. And thanks for listening to the Steve Kane Show.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? Maybe you do and you don't even know it. Do you have numbness, pain, burning, or tingling in your hands and feet? Muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching? Are you not sleeping? Does it feel like pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all. The symptoms can make life unbearable, but there is help at the Lighthouse Medical Center. Call 754-222-6642 for a no-charge consultation and say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. 754-222-6642. Online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com.
Traveling and need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is located in the Sandalwood Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7. 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All righty, welcome back. It's Monday morning, 21 minutes after the hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I was just reading this morning in the Gateway Pundit, George Soros has donated $1 million to Stacey Abrams' campaign for governor of Georgia. Just the fact that George Soros donated to her campaign $1 million is enough reason for her not to have support of anyone, because he's a bad man. However, here's the big secret. Stacey Abrams does not want to be governor of Georgia. She wants to forever lose. Stacey Abrams, when she ran for governor the first time, one story came out. She was in a lot of debt, big debt. Now she's a multimillionaire and is debt-free. How has she made her money? She's debt-free and worth millions of dollars now. By being a victim, by losing. If she wins, she can't make all that money that she's making now, traveling around, whining about being a victim. And Stacey Abrams, she's whined about being a victim so much that people are starting to believe that she actually wants to be the governor of Georgia and are donating money to her campaign. She wants to lose. There's more money in being a victim than actually having to work for a living and be the governor of Georgia. The Minister of Truth has spoken. You know, that wackadoodle lady who looks like her makeup is done by the people that do the makeup for the little girl beauty pageants. Oh my goodness. Got a couple clips here from the Minister of Truth, who, of course, our Ministry of Truth is part of the Department of Homeland Security, which was established to monitor terrorists after 9/11. Got a couple clips. Here's the first one. Here, the minister of truth has spoken. And, of course, we must stop down when Big Brother speaks.
That's false or misleading information that uses gendered tropes. So it might be, for instance, this is a big one that we tracked in the report, Kamala Harris slept her way to the top.
Okay, so this is misinformation that she needs to counter, right? That Kamala Harris slept her way to the top. Well, I don't think much sleeping was involved, but everyone knows that Kamala Harris was Willie Brown's girlfriend. Willie Brown married at the time. I don't know whatever happened to Willie Brown, but she was openly dating a married man. Her first statewide position that she held was an appointment that Willie Brown got for her. So I don't think sleeping was going on there, if you get my drift. But how is that inaccurate? Her first state-level position was an appointment that Willie Brown got for her, and she was sleeping with him while he was married. So how is that misinformation, Minister of Truth?
That's false or misleading information that uses gendered tropes. So it might be, for instance, this is a big one that we tracked in the report, Kamala Harris slept her way to the top. Or it might be that Jacinda Ardern, another one that we found, is actually a man. So we might see racist tropes about, name it, I mean, Ilhan Omar is a favorite for this sort of racist sexual rhetoric that's compounded, the idea that she married her brother to immigrate to the United States.
No, the rumor is that she married her brother so he could immigrate to the United States. But how's that racist or sexist? How is it racist or sexist to say that? Which, to my knowledge, she's never debunked.
For instance, but then we see racialized narratives, things like Kamala ain't black, hashtag Kamala ain't black.
Okay. Inside the she is biracial, Kamala Harris, like Obama, right? Her father was from Jamaica, black, her mother from India, Gandhi's India, so she's biracial. And inside the African-American community, there is a lot of bigotry, a lot of prejudice against skin tone, how dark you are, how light you are. And inside the black community, people will say she's not black. And so far, if you're not black, Joe Biden said if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. So no matter how dark or light your skin may be, you consider yourself an African-American. If you voted for anyone other than Joe Biden, which would be Trump, you ain't black, according to him. Is the minister of truth, big sister here? Is she going to clamp down on Joe Biden for saying people are not black who do not vote for him? That means the Blacks for Trump guy that's at all the rallies, he ain't black, according to Joe Biden. That's right, because he voted for Trump.
Her brother to immigrate to the United States, for instance. But then we see racialized narratives, things like Kamala ain't black, hashtag Kamala ain't black is one that we tracked. Things that are saying that she's not black enough, she's not South Asian enough to claim that heritage.
Well, okay. A lot of people take issue with her claiming to be African American. And that is very legitimate, not because she's biracial. When Kamala Harris was in elementary school, her parents split, and her mother took her to Canada. And she went to elementary school all the way through high school in Canada. So a lot of times people say she's not African American, not meaning that she's not black or biracial, that she has not had the African American experience because she grew up in Canada. So how does she understand the African American experience? She may understand the African Canadian experience, but the African American experience is certainly something that is questionable since she grew up, was raised in Canada, only returned to America for college.
See racialized narratives, things like Kamala ain't black, hashtag Kamala ain't black is one that we tracked. Things that are saying that she's not black enough, she's not South Asian enough to claim that heritage. Same thing goes against AOC. So rather than write the word bitch, they will use an exclamation point instead of an I'm. Or they will use visual memes to avoid textual detection. So one of the things that I get pretty frequently as a woman in my 30s without children is I get sent pictures of empty egg cartons, which are meant to remind me that my fertility is waning. That those same narratives about Kamala Harris, about other candidates, about women in general in the West were echoed in domestic Russian disinformation.
Okay, who is sending her empty egg crates saying that her eggs are getting old? That's something like a mother or a grandmother would do, right? Okay, so that's the Minister of Truth, but she wasn't done. The next clip's a little shorter. So here's the Minister of Truth talking about social media censorship.
There's already this idea, this allegation that there is anti-conservative bias on the platforms, even though there has been study after study proving, in fact, that often it's liberal voices that are being silenced, particularly minority voices on social media. So I think we're going to see more allegations of that.
Okay, allegations. How about examples of it? Who are the high-profile Democrats banned from social media? Who are the high-profile liberal minorities banned from social media? The people I know off the top of my head banned from social media: my friend Laura Loomer, the great Mike Lindell, the great President Trump, Milo Yiannopoulos. He's a minority gay guy. Very good too. Who are these liberal black Democrats and Hispanic Democrats and great liberal voices that have been banned from social media? What is the ministeress? Is a minister, is that a masculine thing? If you're a lady minister, are you a mistress or a ministress? I don't know. The Minister of Truth, Big Sister, we'll call her instead of Big Brother. I don't know what her preferred pronouns are. I'm sure we'll find out. Please share with us the list of high-profile liberal voices that have been banned from social media. Problem is, it goes one way every time: banning of conservatives. Oh my goodness. Don't forget the huge BOGO extravaganza at Mike Lindell's MyPillow.com with the promo code Kane. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener specials. There are so many BOGO offers there. You know, the MyPillow Elegance pillow, which I got 4 of this week. You know, the regular classic MyPillow is also buy one, get one free. The MyPillow 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets with the promo code Kane, buy one, get one free. The 6-piece MyPillow towel set, buy one, get one free. You know they have beach blankets, MyPillow? Oh, I got to get some beach blankets. The MyPillow beach blankets are BOGO. They have all kinds of regular blankets, throw blankets, couch blankets, pet blankets. Buy one, get one free. Huge BOGO offers right now at MyPillow.com. That means buy one, get one free with the promo code Kane. There's a lot of other great specials there too. But this is the BOGO extravaganza going on right now with the promo code Kane at MyPillow.com. They added a whole bunch of new BOGOs over the weekend, so check it out. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE. K-A-N-E.
Listen to the Uncle High Show, afternoons on WWNN Talk Radio.
Hi, this is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. If you call or text me on my cell phone, I will analyze your home and your FPL bill over the phone, and I can quote you on insulation, ducts, and radiant barrier. Call me now, and I'll show you how to save up to 30 to 40% on your electric bill this month and for every month from here till eternity. 954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500. Call now, get up to 50% off, and receive an additional $500 on over 2,000 square feet of radiant barrier, an additional $1,000 off on 4,000 square feet of radiant barrier. Call or text me now, 954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500. Or you can find me on the web at cutmykilowatts.com.
Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental is the official dentist of the Steve Kane Show. For good reason. He does great work at affordable prices. Listen to a Steve Kane listener share their experience with Dr. Gupta.
Hi, this is Tim, one of your loyal listeners, and I just want to thank you for turning me on to Dr. Gupta. I went over to him yesterday, and I had a great experience, and makes you feel very comfortable over there, and has a beautiful place, and I thank you guys very much. Have a great one.
Dr. Gupta, the official dentist of The Steve Kane Show. Make Dr. Gupta the official dentist of your family. Give him a call. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. Online, BrightonDentalCare.com.
Hi folks, Dr. Matez here, now with the BioStation West Delray. At BioStation West Delray, we continue to offer the highest level of experience and care you can find in the realm of hormone pellet and hormone replacement therapies. But that's just the start. We offer a full array of age management.
Yeah, if you haven't seen my RV video yet, there's the thumbnail.
Sexual dysfunction in women,
The sunglasses and MAGA hat on. Yeah.
quite frankly, any sign or symptom of aging that you may have. And don't forget, we offer the complete array of all cosmetic modalities, including Botox, fillers, lasers, etc. Better energy, better sleep, better performance, and looks to die for. If this all sounds good to you, call us at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, Steve Kane will be joining us in the next hour. Oh, man, and don't forget afternoons on our radio station. We've had some changes here on our radio station. Talk radio is back in the afternoons in this market. From 3 to 4, Neil Rogers, followed by Uncle High from 4 to 6. You will not want to miss it. Oh, man, I know. That's awesome. Okay, so I do want to talk, though, about what I'm considering to be a little bit of... I don't want to say totally fake news, but misrepresented news. And this is about booing at the Trump rally in Pennsylvania. I did watch the Trump rally in Pennsylvania. I saw Dr. Oz speak when he was up there with President Trump. And there's President Trump, during his speech, invited Dr. Oz up on stage. And Dr. Oz... I did not hear boos when President Trump brought Dr. Oz up on stage. I did not hear boos. I'm talking about when President Trump brought him up on stage, very specifically, when we had a packed house of very soggy people. I didn't hear boos of Dr. Oz then. Now, Jack Posobiec, who I like Jack Posobiec. He's awesome. All right, and I'm a big fan of Jack Posobiec, and I know, if you're a conservative, you know who he is. You're a big fan too. He's an awesome guy. He tweeted a video out over the weekend of Dr. Oz being booed when he was up there speaking by himself, and that is true. The video was taken on someone's iPhone, and they were pretty far from the stage, and it wasn't like a regular microphone or anything. And I heard a couple of boos that were people that were obviously close to the guy with the cell phone. I think there's a little misrepresentation going on here about the booing of Dr. Oz. I heard a couple of guys booing, not when Trump was up there, when he was speaking by himself, that were close to the cell phone that the guy made that video that he sent out there. I did not hear boos when President Trump brought Dr. Oz up and Dr. Oz spoke. And I know he's a little polished. I know he's a little too polished up there. That's just his TV background. You get in front of when you're a guy like that, you're in front of a microphone and a camera. They get in their TV mode, I guess. But I'm not an advocate. I shouldn't say. I don't want Trump to have any losses. I just don't. I want Trump to have wins, wins, wins. All right, our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Andrea.
Hey, Andrea.
So the interesting thing about the ads in Pennsylvania, and I'll have Pennsylvanians look for this, now they're all wearing the Glenn Youngkin vest.
Yeah, and I was at a clothing store yesterday, and they were selling a bunch of those sweater vest things like he wears. I guess Youngkin's made those popular.
They're all all doing it. Dave McCormick, Brian Fitzpatrick, they all have them in their ads. Like, like people can't see right through that crap.
Yeah, I'm not a sweater vest guy. I mean, I know they look kind of, even back when I was a kid, and a teenager, and Back to the Future was out, and, Matthew J. Fox had on that vest thing that kids used to wear with the sleeveless jacket. I never owned one of those. I thought they were stupid. If it's cold, why do you have your arms exposed?
Exactly.
I always thought those were stupid. What were those things called that Marty McFly wore? What are those called? I forgot.
They were like out.
The sleeves zipped on and off. Sometimes they came with sleeves you could unzip, and I never wore nor I did have parachute pants, I'm embarrassed to say, but I never had one of those. Yeah, I had parachute pants. I remember once I wore parachute pants to school, and it was a cold day, so I wore sweatpants under my parachute pants. But one of my uncles said to me, we had a family function, and it was and I was wearing my parachute pants, and he said to me, my uncle, his name's Randy, my uncle, he says, "What are you, going up on the space shuttle? What are you wearing?" Remember those? Oh my goodness. But anyway, the Yunkin vest. We digress.
I grew up in the 80s, so I had like extra super large, aquanetted, super crunchy hair that you couldn't tell how many people were in the car.
Oh yeah.
Don't have a leg to stand on as far as that. But I did want to
Did I say Matthew Fox? I'm getting like
that
Biden.
whole thing
I
on
misspoke. Michael J. Fox.
Because I just find it so egregious that people are not flooding MSNBC with phone calls demanding, like, it's time to put the pressure on. Like, what is it going to take? Even the Ministry of Truth now, how are there people not in the streets? They're in the streets for abortion. They were at my church in the Handmaid's Tale outfit.
Hey, really?
Oh my God, Brian.
Oh man, if I wish those handmaid ladies would come. I'd go take selfies with those lunatics. Put them on my Instagram. What a bunch of nuts. They came to your church yesterday dressed in the Handmaid's Tale outfit? Really?
Yep.
What the hell were they doing? What was that about?
Holding coat hangers.
Were they wire coat hangers or were they plastic?
They were wire.
Where would you even find wire coat hangers today? I haven't seen a wire coat hanger in so long.
Well,
did any of the women look like a man would want to impregnate them?
They looked just ridiculous, and the fact that they had
OP shorts,
gotten
OP shorts
to the vestibule, and just totally disrupted the whole service. And that's what the goal was, of course. But I will say, the priest, he just kept going. Like they weren't even there. And the congregation got loud.
Were they outside the church or inside?
Well, the mass had already started. So they weren't there when people were pulling up. They weren't there. This is what I think happened. I think they were just sitting in their cars in the parking lot. And then once the mass got underway, they changed into their Handmaid's Tale and just burst through the doors. It was the most ridiculous thing like I've ever seen.
And what do they think they're accomplishing? I mean, you're in Pennsylvania, right? So you're a church in Pennsylvania. What does that have to do with what's going on at the Supreme Court?
Because they're lunatics. They are lunatics.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yeah, I would agree.
They're unhinged people. And I live in a liberal town, right? So at any given point, there's one guy that dresses up like Baby Jane, and he's walking Main Street. So you see everything.
Mm-hmm.
But that was just like holding coat hangers I don't even know what they were chanting because I just started laughing.
Now, first off, I don't want to get too graphic, but I don't believe the coat hanger thing, and I'll tell you why I don't believe it. I remember back, we're talking about the 80s, earlier. I used a wire coat hanger many a time to either get myself or a friend into their locked car that they locked the keys inside of. Remember, you used to take the wire coat hangers and you would twist the bottom and you could pull up the door handle lock. Remember those things where they used to come up?
Yeah.
Okay. And one thing about wire coat hangers, they are sharp on the ends. I don't believe any woman ever in history put one of those inside of her for an abortion, because if she started to do it, she would injure herself instantly before she even got inside of her. They're very, very sharp. It's not possible. I don't think a coat hanger was ever used for an abortion. I think that's a liberal urban legend.
It is 100% a liberal urban legend. Most women die from shock.
I'm not saying that there were not dangerous things that happened, but I don't believe that one, because when you most people don't have wire coat hangers. Mommy Dearest kind of ended the wire coat hanger industry. But if you have a wire coat hanger at home, unwrap it, undo it, and feel the tip. On both ends. No. They're too dangerous. They're too dangerous. I don't believe that story.
What I also think is disgusting is that these feminists, and I'm totally anti-feminist, these feminists say, it's my body, it's my choice. So men have no say. But yet men are expected to financially support a baby, even if he's not in the household. So the contradiction there, and I'm not saying men should not support their children because they should 100%, but I just find it interesting that the contrast of, if I want to kill the baby, it's my body, my choice, but I want your proof for it if it's also my choice.
Well, this thing about not having the father involved, I mentioned this last week on the air, when we adopted my daughter, there's a court process. You have to go to court and everything else. And the birth father had to sign off on the adoption. And it was not easy, by the way. And he had to sign off on it. And that's what you got to do. I don't know where they get this idea that men should not have a voice in this.
I think men should 1,000% have a voice. And this is, you said that Tiffany Cross is traumatized. She's traumatized by feminism. This is the lie. This has been the full-out assault on men for decades now.
Yeah, there's something in her past. I mean, she's got a speech impediment and everything else, and she's on national television. Something's up with that.
I don't know. I cannot understand why it's just why people are fighting so hard to kill babies.
Yeah.
These people have the same mindset as slave owners. It's my property to do with what I...
Well, it's much like during the Holocaust. What they've done is they've dehumanized the unborn. It's an unperson, a non-person. And these lunatic ladies in their handmaid costumes in front of your church are examples of that. All right, I got to run for our break, but Andrea, thanks for the call. We'll take our last break of the second hour of the program. Steve Kane will be joining us after the top of the hour. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'm Brian Craig, back after this.
The home of South Florida's biggest talk stars. Steve Kane, Neil Rogers, Uncle High, Abe Green. Right here on WWNN, the talk of South Florida.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. How would you like to have instant access to a Medicare advocate at the touch of a button? You can for less than $1 a day with I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates advocate will assist you with doctor appointment scheduling, pharmacy issues, billing problems, plan benefits, Medicare applications.
By the way, thanks everyone for joining me, and please like the video, and everybody, please thank the mods, because they make it so I don't have to pay attention to the chat and I can focus more on the content, which helps. What's up? Yeah. Because it won't go through now. Yeah, because we have the moderators, I don't have to monitor the chat as closely. I can pay better attention to the content on the air, which I think makes the show better. Thank you, Jimmy Mac. All right, 49 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. You know, I was following this escape attempt of the prisoner, the 6'9" tall prisoner with the man boobs, with the prison guard. I watched an hour-long special on that over the weekend, and I got really interested in it. Are you guys following this? This woman, her husband died. She's 57. The lady guard. Her husband died a year ago, and now they had split, they said, but lived together. He had some type of health issues. But you've seen the video of her leading him into the police car, right, for the escape. Very calm, cool, calculated, and everything else. And do you know where their first stop was after she broke him out of jail? Well, if you call that a breakout, after she casually walked him to her cruiser. Do you know where their first stop was? I watched a whole hour-long special on this case. It was very fascinating. I really loved it. It was really an interesting case. She went, after she had escaped with him, she went to a sex shop. I couldn't believe, a reporter went to the sex shop, but they wouldn't talk to him. And I don't know what she bought in there. I was very curious. I don't know, family show here. But this woman, she breaks out this guy who some people have said that have had interactions with him, law enforcement that were involved in his arrest years ago, that he is like Bundy and Gacy combined. And they've got this picture they keep showing of him with his shirt off. What did she see in this guy that made her fall for him to destroy her entire life? They are going to get them. I mean, this guy is taller than bin Laden, right? He's 6'9", and, he's such an unusually tall guy. Even if their story's true that he's in a wheelchair and she's pushing him around, a guy that big is going to stand out. And she is very recognizable regardless of what disguise she does. Her mouth is very distinctive. But I thought it was so strange. I mean, she was a woman who's old and ugly. I'm not saying she's old and ugly. She's not that much older than I am, but I have Dr. Matez and hormone replacement pellet therapy, so, But she's not the most attractive, but she's not ugly. I mean, there's worse. A woman of any age or level of beauty or mass or anything else that is a perv like she apparently is can always find a guy to have sex with them. You don't have to break a guy out of the jailhouse to do it. But I thought all she was thinking about was sex. She went right to the sex shop. I'm dying to know what she bought. Just out of my own curiosity, but they will get them. He's too strange looking. The only question is, will she survive it? Will she survive it? This guy is totally insane, and he is a killer. He weighs over 300 pounds. My guess, I think now that I say it, I think I know what she probably bought. I don't know if I should say it on the radio, but I think I know because, I was talking about Dr. Matez and how hormone replacement pellet therapy in women reverses the signs and symptoms of menopause, mood swings, sex drive is returned in both men and women. She obviously has the sex drive, but vaginal dryness is a symptom that women suffer from who are in menopause, and she probably bought something at the sex shop to counter that issue, would be my guess. But it is so strange. When I hear of a woman doing something like that, I assume that the guy must be the most good-looking, handsome guy you've ever seen in jail. And then you see this guy, there's nothing, and what kind of life did she think she was going to have with this guy if they freely escape? He would, even if they weren't caught, they're always going to be one. They can't both be sleeping at night. They got to be on the lookout because Johnny Law could come busting in at any time. So they got to sleep in shifts. She's not going to have a life with this guy. I don't understand what's going through the mind of the prison guard. I saw this one guy interviewed who she got fired. And he says he was wrongfully terminated because of bad reports she made about him, and he was just laying into her. But he said that the photographs that they have on TV are inaccurate, that she is a tanning bed fanatic, and that the pictures on television, there's the bright light on them and it washes her face out, that she's got tanning bed tan skin, that she doesn't look the way that she looks. But you don't think of women being the pervs as much as guys. I could see a male guard breaking a lady out of the jailhouse, but a woman. And then I saw an interview with another woman who went to prison. She was a lady jailhouse guard, and she broke her prison lover, this guard, out of jail, and she did a couple of years in prison for it, and she's free now. And she talked about how everything was lovey-dovey until they escaped, and then when he was free and she wasn't the guard anymore and they were on the run, he changed. She saw his real side, his real personality. So this lady guard, my guess would be she's alive. She hasn't been killed by this guy because they would have found her body by now. But if they don't get caught soon, he will kill her. And it's amazing to me how stupid some people can be. It really is. But it is a fascinating case, and I keep checking every morning to see if they caught them yet. I remember a few years ago. Remember these two guys? Women always are. You don't think of them as being crazed when it comes to sex, but there was these two guys a few years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, broke out of prison, and remember, and the lady prison nurse smuggled in something in a frozen piece of hamburger that they could use to break out a file or something. Remember this? So it's not only men that don't think clearly. With women. Women have the same problem, apparently. All right, our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Steve Kane will be joining us after the top of the hour break. And when Steve joins us, I'm going to recap the clip I had from I have 3 clips that are just very disturbing from MSNBC that I played yesterday, or in the first hour that were yesterday on MSNBC that I want to share with Steve. I saw a story out of Missouri this morning on the Gateway Pundit. It is very disturbing. There's a Missouri school district that have a test question that involves a police shooting in the question. Winsville's school district, okay, is where this happened in Missouri. Here is a question that was on a test that was given to students. Listen to this. And we're talking, there's a lot of talk about critical race theory and education. All these books that Florida rejected, and they're injecting critical race theory and all kinds of subject matter through the word problems. Listen to this word problem that was on this test in Missouri. Teresa has heard in the news about the fatal shootings of unarmed African American men by police officers, but does not think it is necessarily due to racism. Teresa is most likely A, and there's 4 selections. Okay, so Teresa's hearing about police shooting unarmed African Americans. This is a test question, but she doesn't think it's necessarily due to racism. Teresa is most likely A, a Democrat, B, a black woman, C, a Republican, or D, a Democrat-leaning woman. The correct answer is Republican. That was on an actual test given to students in a school in Missouri. You know, we're at the point now where all materials in every classroom must be made public, because what's going on in America's the school district says they have no knowledge of this. Well, it's a computerized test. The school had to know about it. This wasn't a worksheet test that the teacher put together on her own. This was a computerized test in the system of the school district for this particular school where this was asked. All school materials need to be made available now. Anything that students see. And you know what? They need to have cameras in all the classrooms with audio, so parents can listen in anytime they want. We're getting into a very, very dangerous area here with our schools. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. My name's Brian Craig. Steve Kane will be joining us when we get back. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this.
Numbness, pain, burning, or tingling in your hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching. Are you not sleeping? Does it feel like pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all. The symptoms can make life unbearable, but there is help at the Lighthouse Medical Center. Call 754-222-6642 for a no-charge consultation and say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. 754-222-6642.
They all do.
Lighthouse Medical Center.
Barry's eye here? Okay.
Any lab tests now of Boca offer more than just lab work. They also have B12 injections available. B12 injections promote weight loss, increase energy, reduce stress, promote healthy skin, improve sleep, increase metabolism, fight heart disease, improve memory, and improve mood. B12 injections at any lab test now at Boca Raton, like their lab test, are priced low. 5 injections for just $69. Other places in town charge $349 for 3 injections, so that is a huge savings. Any lab test now at Boca Raton is located at 23016 Sandalfoot Plaza on the east side of 441, just a few doors down from Western Beef. If you have any questions, call 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Any lab tests now at Boca Raton. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Hi, Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. We survived the 2021 hurricane season. Now it's time to get your building envelope ready for the next season. Laporta Contracting installs all types of roofs, from asphalt, clay, and concrete, standing metal seam, flat roofs, and slate tile systems. Our building restoration offers complete envelope protection to include siding, stucco, concrete restoration, impact windows and doors, weatherproofing, and painting. Laporta Contracting serves single-family, multifamily, HOAs, and commercial properties. Call Laporta Contracting today for a free evaluation and estimate, and go to our website to see our team and past customer videos at laportacontracting.com. Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again is 954-604-4602. And thanks for listening to the Steve Kane Show.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Boca Raton. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-COCAINE-1. That's 1-888-COCAINE-1. And now, here's Steve Kane.
All right. The third hour of our Monday morning program has begun. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 45 years on the radio this year, the Steve Kane Show. Steve joining us. Hey, Steve. Oh, man. Lots happening this morning. I wanted to recap a couple things I did in the first hour because I think it's so important. I want to make sure everybody in this audience hears it. You know, and if you listen to the Steve Kane Show, you know, this show starts at 6. Set your alarm for 5:55 a.m. and you'll miss nothing. But, you know, sometimes people, they want to sleep in. I don't get it. But anyway, have some very disturbing audio from MSNBC. MSNBC decided to spend Mother's Day discussing ways for women to not become mothers through abortion. And I've got, let me see here, I've got 3 clips from MSNBC yesterday. The first one is Tiffany Cross, who is racist. She hates white people. She's talking about Roe v. Wade, and she says black adopting black babies is not always safe for black and brown children. Listen to this.
This whole notion that, you know, women should have children and just, you know, let the kids get adopted. Well, that's not always a safe route, particularly for black and brown kids. Black kids do not get adopted often. We have stats on it. There are often kids who stay in the system for a long time. When you look at the stats of who gets adopted, it is disproportionately white children.
Okay, now white children are adopted more often because there's more white people. There's more white children than black children because they're not a minority. But I think, Steve, what she's saying is on MSNBC that children are better off being aborted and not born than being adopted. It sounds, and then they, yeah, it's...
I infer from listening to that quote that regardless of what other people are doing, she is not adopting children, at least that impression.
The only thing she's adopted are a bunch of racist opinions.
And it's certainly worth asking her that question if she is so concerned about black kids. Why is she not adopting them?
Yeah, well, she's not done. Listen.
We have stats on it. There are often kids who stay in the system for a long time. When you look at the stats of who gets adopted, it is disproportionately white children. There are currently tens of thousands of children, hundreds of thousands of children in the foster care system who are just being shuttled through. So when people say that's a right, what would be your response? That's a better path for women, what would be your response?
What about the better path for the kids, right?
And my response is, why is not this lady so concerned, who is so obviously so concerned with the welfare of black kids, why is she not at least taking one or...
Yeah, with her MSNBC salary. Yeah, well, she...
What would be your response?
I'm all for adoption, don't get me wrong, but just like your stats are right there, the proof is in the pudding. There is no rush to adopt black babies or brown babies. Let's be clear about that.
That which is, of course, a bunch of nonsense. Oh, my goodness. I mean, that's Mother's Day on MSNBC. And then she went, when she was done with that, she threw it over to another member of her panel. It had a panel of a bunch of women all agreeing with each other about Roe v. Wade. Here's another one of her panelists about who should and should not render an opinion on this topic.
I don't think anyone with a penis should have any say unless it's someone that me or that pregnant person includes into that decision. You know, and moving forward, when dealing with women's health care and people with vagina, when I say women, I'm including non-gender conforming individuals and trans women. So if you are someone who does not have a vagina, if you don't have a uterus, you should not be making any decisions, any opinions, unless you are a medically trained and schooled doctor. period. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Okay, so if you don't have a uterus, no opinion. There are a lot of women that do not have a uterus. No uterus, no opinion. Yeah, that's their new slogan. A lot of women do not have a uterus. They have it removed, at some point in their life for a variety of reasons. In particular, a lot of these older women that we see, like Pelosi and age and stuff, a lot of them do not have a uterus anymore, Don't assume that they have uteruses. This is really sick talk on Mother's Day of all days on MSNBC. Now, not on Tiffany Cross's program, on someone else's show, but MSNBC still, they had a comedian on who made a joke about abortion. Now, I played this earlier in the show. I'm going to do the same disclaimer I did then. I don't think it's funny. I think it's sick and twisted, and I think there really should be some punishment for them. So there's a comedian on this panel on MSNBC makes a joke about abortion that the entire panel thinks is hilarious. And my disclaimer is, we don't do trigger warnings like the snowflakes, but this is a pretty disturbing thing and may not be for all ears. But the clip is only 40 seconds long, so if you want to turn down your radio for 42 seconds, come back after this sick thing is said. This is a comedian, MSNBC, making what they call a joke about an abortion.
That's
false or misleading.
Yeah, I guess so. Here's the thing. Here's my feeling about the leaker. I would like to find out who the leaker is so I could make sweet love to that person, because that person is a hero to me. Okay? And if the leaker, a lot of people are saying it could be a conservative, if the leaker is a Republican, and if I get pregnant during our lovemaking, I will joyfully abort our fetus and let them know.
Oh my God.
I don't know if that answered your question. I probably didn't.
It was a little off topic. It was a little. Go ahead,
okay.
Jen. Take this one.
Yeah, the entire panel thinks that's funny, and oh my gosh, that is. You want to talk about beyond good taste? I've never heard something like that on national television. This is not a Showtime HBO special. This is MSNBC, basic cable here. There's only one opening on the board, Steve. You want to hear what the listeners have to say? All right, there's one opening at 1-888-GO-KANE 1. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. Once, twice. Yes, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Boynton Beach.
All right, Jeff.
What's up?
I want to thank you for your program. Come to my assistance a couple times here. I spent Thursday nights on Woolbright celebrating President Trump with flags, and we get these people that drive by giving us Trump has done for this country and what we have right now. And then when your liberal callers call in, and I do hear the things that come out of their mouth, especially the lady from Louisiana, not lady, I don't know what it is. It just confirms my idea that maybe Dan Block are evil, but listen, in many cases, they're stupid. So
more stupid than evil. More stupid than evil. This comedian is, but you can be both. The comedian with the abortion joke is both stupid and evil. Louisiana is just stupid.
Yeah. So it's and again, your Champagne Auto came to my assistance, and the next time you stop into their shop, you can ask them about the guy that bought these statues from their office. And I appreciate your show, Ray.
All right, Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca. Yeah, they do great stuff. They'll never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle does not need, and their prices are like right out of the 80s and 90s, very low prices. All right, good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning, caller.
I'm calling from Miami.
Miami, you're on the radio.
Hey, okay, so I'm commenting on a quote, not a quote, but a conversation you guys had in regards to coat hangers.
Mm-hmm.
In my experience, this is horrible, but this happened.
Don't be too graphic in the radio, okay?
No, my brother's girlfriend had 2 abortions. I didn't know her at the time because I was older. So later in life, I got to know her, and I said, how did that happen? And she said, your mom did it for me. And I said, stop. And she said, yes, she did. And I go, how would she do that? And she told me twice with a coat hanger.
Mm. When was this? When was this?
Probably 30 years ago.
Well, why the hell would she do that? Abortion was legal everywhere. Why would she be doing a coat hanger abortion when it's legal everywhere at 30 years ago?
You know, I don't know that. I didn't know the circumstances when they happened. I heard about them later. I'm just commenting that your conversation sort of led people to believe that that didn't happen.
I think your story is BS. I'm not saying you're lying. You would lie too.
From a very conservative family. My mother was raised in, quote, the old country, so that was probably her way.
No. Slow down here. I don't want to take away this momentous story. Where did this happen? What, America? Minnesota. Minnesota is liberal as liberal gets. Okay, Walter Mondale is from Minnesota. 30 years ago, it was 1992. Bill Clinton was running for president against George Bush. You're telling me that, I'm not saying you're lying, but you were lied to. In liberal Minnesota, why the hell would a woman, where they do abortion on demand, even the partial birth probably back then, do a coat hanger abortion in 1992? That doesn't even make sense.
I understand that, and I understand your questioning, but I am telling you this happened. I met the girl many years after this all happened, and we were both, at that time, she became a Christian. She shared this with me. I was like, but my mother was raised in Czechoslovakia, so maybe that was a part of what they did there. I don't know.
No, to me, it sounds to, if you're pro-life person, okay, you know, if what you are saying are true, I mean, people do stupid things. I mean, I've known guys that have branded themselves with coat hangers. I know people that have tried to give themselves tattoos. So I'm not saying that there are stupid people that don't do stupid things. But Minnesota, 1992, is as liberal as San Francisco. And the only person that would do a coat hanger abortion in a place where they abortion on demand on every street corner in that state is just a stupid person. But I don't believe their story. For whatever reason they told you that story, I don't believe it.
I'm telling you the story is true because got here was we talked about her present children. So I said to her, how does that make you feel when you look at your babies now and you know what you did twice? It's terrible.
And how does that process work with the coat hanger? You know, this thing. No. Listen, a wire. This came up because there were some women in Handmaid's Tales costumes at Andrea's church in Pennsylvania protesting, and they were holding wire hangers. Okay. No, I was in the middle of a sentence, but I get okay. All right, go on. No. She hung up. Okay. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Well, I'll finish my sentence before you go, caller. A wire coat hanger is a very sharp object. Okay, I've used them for tools around the house in the past, getting myself in a locked car. Even if you bend the end of it around, like in a U shape, the point is very, very sharp, and there's nothing you can do about it. You would kill a woman if you tried to do that with her. Well, the woman that told her the story didn't die, and she did it twice. The story's BS. I don't buy that story. Anyway, caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, this is Ford from Tampa Bay. No wire hangers.
Are you trying to be funny with Mommy Dearest? Well, are you drunk? Let me ask you, Ford. Let me ask you, Ford. Are you no? Are you drunk or are you high? Are you drunk or are you high? Why would you make a? Well, then you're a sick man. Why would you say something like that and laugh?
2 abortions.
Yeah.
First first one I consented to, and it was done by a military.
Don't try to do an SOS save here because you said something stupid and in bad taste. Thanks for the call. That's the guy that drank all the beer that day, Steve. Remember that guy? Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hello, Brian.
Yes. What's your name? Yeah. What's your name?
My name is Julian. I'm on your Facebook page.
Hey, Julian. Welcome.
How you doing? I know you're from New York. I'm from the Bronx too. A long time ago. But I'd like to say hello to Andrea and Richie. I like Richie. But I want to tell you, I mean, this whole thing with the abortion is really insane. All you have to do is give your baby up. I mean, why?
That's correct.
That's
what I keep saying. That's what I keep saying on the air.
I know, and you know, Steve, they call it a fetus. Well, excuse me. Come on, this is insane what's going on. And also, the lady that this thing came out with legal abortion, federal, Roe versus Wade, her name was Norma McCorvey, and she gave the baby up for adoption.
That's correct.
And then on Facebook, you cannot argue with these people. Last night, they laugh about abortion. I mean, you kill your baby? This is insane. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Paul.
Well, thank you for your call. Oh man. Oh boy. All right, let's take our break. We'll be back. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Steve is here. It's Monday. Back after this.
Listen to the Uncle High Show, afternoons on WWNN Talk Radio.
Brian Craig here with a huge announcement from the Thomas Edison of sleep, the inventor of the MyPillow, Mike Lindell. And MyPillow are now offering a BOGO extravaganza on multiple MyPillow items. Right now at MyPillow.com with our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E at checkout. Buy one, get free pricing on MyPillow bed sheets, Giza Elegance MyPillows, the 6-piece MyPillow towel set, and the MyPillow Roll and Go Anywhere MyPillows, and so much more. Just go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio listener specials. Use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout, or call toll-free 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. The BOGO extravaganza at MyPillow.com with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout. And with each purchase, for free, you will get a copy of Mike Lindell's autobiography. Call 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. Or go to the radio listener special page at MyPillow.com and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E.
Dr. Matez here from the Biostation West Delray. Many of you are familiar with the famous erection injection, an extremely effective treatment for erectile dysfunction made popular right here on the Steve Kane Show. I'm here to tell you that the erection injection is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the extensive array of treatment options now available at the Biostation West Delray. Our custom compounded products yield combinations and dosages that increase the efficacy of Viagra and Cialis greatly. We also offer treatments that can correct the problem at its source, such as PRP and sound wave pulse therapies that restore your natural function. State-of-the-art testing and the most current treatment options all available in one place, the Biostation West Delray. If you want to correct your erectile problems once and for all, call us at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? Maybe you do and you don't even know it. Do you have numbness, pain, burning, or tingling in your hands and feet? Muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching. Are you not sleeping? Does it feel like pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all. The symptoms can make life unbearable, but there is help at the Lighthouse Medical Center. Call 754-222-6642 for a no-charge consultation and say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. 754-222-6642. Online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for them.
Oh man, Cuckoo's coming out today, Steve, on the show.
A lot of these things that seem grotesque and that seem weird divide our audience from the point of view of their views on abortion. This was devastating to the so-called let's call them what they are, pro-abortion people.
Steve Kane Show.
They lost a lot of ground on this.
Steve Kane Show.
The national picture.
Mm-hmm.
There's no question of that. They come across like what they are. They come across as fanatic, heartless nutcases.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else picks up on this but me. You know, the ones who got picketed yesterday were all liberal justices. But not every liberal was picketed. Are you aware of that?
You mean conservative? They were all conservative justices that were picketed. But you said that, but they weren't all liberal. But okay. Okay, because you got me confused.
Start from scratch. Let's pretend I never screwed that up. They were all conservative judges that were picketed, but not all the conservatives were picketed.
Really?
Did I write that?
Yes.
For example, Clarence Thomas's home was not picketed.
Really? I did not know that.
In the past, and I wanted to throw out to the audience, if anybody out there is a creative thinker, why you think that happened? I can tell you what my observation is. I think they gave Thomas a pass because he's black.
Yeah.
We're correct.
They don't want to be called racist.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right about that.
If anybody else has any theories on it, I'd like to hear them.
The only other option is they couldn't find his address, but they had everyone else's. No, I think your theory is right. That's how liberal they are. All right, our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Now, we have a guest joining us at the bottom of the hour, so we only have time, just a couple minutes left for calls. So now's your chance, okay? Let's go to Juan in Coral Springs. Hey, Juan.
Hey, good morning, guys. Well, as far as good morning, Steve. As far as Justice Thomas, give it some time. They will go after him. They've only just begun, is what I believe. But here's the thing that I want to
Do you agree? Hold on. Do you agree with me that it's good for those of us who are pro-life? What's going on there?
Oh, I think it is. This is going to get hashed out in the states where it belongs, and that's a good thing. But the reason I'm calling is because, you see, most Hispanics are not lazy because a lot of them are shifting towards the MAGA movement. You know, were liberal, and now they're, shifting towards the MAGA movement. And Hispanics are 18.7% of the population, whereas black has been 13.4% of the population forever. We surpassed them. We used to be, and it's because if you look at 99.9% of the Planned Parenthoods around the country, they're in black and brown neighborhoods, but absolutely one thing that Hispanics do believe in, by the great majority, is that we don't condone abortion at any level. And this is a direct result of the population growth of Hispanics and the blacks maintaining the same population for the...
Well, Hispanics are, most Hispanics, even if they're not practicing, are Catholic. And that's a big thing in the Catholic Church.
Most of them are conservative.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to abortion...
Yeah.
Everything else they're not. They used to vote in droves liberal, but not since Donald Trump came into the picture. Look at the border of Texas. Those Hispanics are not happy with what's going on over there. Mm-hmm. Legal migration, not illegal migration. We don't go for that. But anyway, thank you for letting me.
Well, no, appreciate it. Thanks for the call. Steve, I just want to take a moment. Can you update people on your neuropathy treatment from Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano?
Off guard here. I can tell you that it's made a big difference in my life. I can tell you that neuropathy, for those of you who suffer from neuropathy, you don't have to be told this because you know of it. It's one of the most unpleasant and difficult diseases that you can come down with.
My phone that I stream on is almost dead, down to 10%. I had to plug in the charger, and the mic plugs in the charging port, so I had to take the mic off to charge it.
And discomfort, and the maddening thing about it is everyone will tell you there's nothing you can do to treat neuropathy. Well, I was pleased to find out that was misinformation. There is a treatment for neuropathy. It's available at the fabulous Lighthouse Medical offices.
That's right.
And make short work of that neuropathy. Get rid of it for you once and for all. Tell them.
Yeah, now if you're in South Florida, that's great. You call, you get your no-charge consultation, you head right in. But if you're not in the area, if you're out of town, out of state, another part of Florida, still give them a call. All right? They very well may be able to help you. Here's the number for Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano, 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642, and online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. And remember, make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show so you can take advantage of that no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642.
Talking, complaining, kvetching, arguing. It's just another day on WWNN Talk Radio.
Brian Craig here. Conservative Doug called me up live on the air to tell me about his experience at Friendly Tire.
I had two bow ties in the back of my Infiniti. So I called them up, and I always check prices first. Half the price of everybody else.
Half the price? Half the price at Friendly Tire. Wow.
Half the price, and not only that, his tires, which nobody, the tires I was looking at, had any mileage.
And this is your mic. If you want to use our comfortable chair or stand, it's up to you.
So you're a repeat customer over there at Friendly Tire.
If I do, I'll just if I need to, I'll do it for you.
Used tires starting at just $30 for
and
most
what did
sizes.
you want
If you
to?
bought new tires,
What are we doing?
half the price.
We'll just like your calling spots.
That is
It'll be pretty easy.
And came with
If you can stand or sit with this mic. Either way,
of course, Friendly Tire, they never charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or dispose of your old tires. The price that they give you are out the door and on the road. And
everybody should go. I don't know how anybody can buy tires. This guy is
I'll be on with you through the end.
Yep. Steve Kane Show. Yes, hold on.
9445. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net. Or you can just stop right in. The address is listed at stevekaneshow.com. 5415 Northwest 15th Street in Margate. And that's just a little north of Coconut Creek Parkway on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Well, Conservative Doug, thanks so much, and I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Hi, Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. We survived the 2021 hurricane season. Now it's time to get your building envelope ready for the next season. Laporta Contracting installs all types of roofs, from asphalt, clay, and concrete, standing metal seam, flat roofs, and slate tile systems. Our building restoration offers complete envelope protection to include siding, stucco, concrete restoration, impact windows and doors, weatherproofing, and painting. Laporta Contracting serves single-family, multifamily, HOAs, and commercial properties. Call Laporta Contracting today for a free evaluation and estimate, and go to our website to see our team and past customer videos at laportacontracting.com. Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again is 954-604-4602. And thanks for listening to The Steve Kane Show.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian Steve Kane here. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. And Steve, we are joined in studio by your attorney, Attorney Barry Siegel, this morning. Hey, Barry.
I'm great. How are you doing, Steve? Oh, it was wonderful. It was great. Got to celebrate Mother's Day with the whole family, and it was terrific. So hope all the mothers out there had a wonderful, beautiful Mother's Day.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Attorney Barry Siegel, when we first, remember Steve, when we first met Attorney Barry Siegel, he was introduced to us by a mutual friend, a mutual friend, Bob Reich, introduced us, and you already had a trust, you had everything all set up, you thought, and just so you could, you could do a better commercial message for Attorney Barry Siegel and the Siegel Law Group, Barry said, well, you should have that trust reviewed. You said, it's all set. And he said, well, let me review it. And you just kind of did it and found out that you were in all kinds of trouble, that if you had passed, your family would have been in desperate shape because Barry found all kinds of problems with your trust, like your trustee was dead. That's a bad one. Yeah. Rick Siderman. Yeah. But that was just one of many problems that Barry found with your trust. Barry, you say people should have their documents reviewed every 3 years. Why is that?
Well, yeah, and we do have our clients come in every 3 years for a free review, and it's really because at the moment you sign your estate planning documents, before the ink's even dry, life is continuing. Things are going to change. Things will change in your personal life. For example, some of the person you named as a trustee, just as you mentioned, may no longer be with us. They may have moved away. They may not be the right person anymore. Maybe you had a falling out with them. Many reasons why you may want to change your fiduciaries. You may want to shuffle who you named as your beneficiaries. The laws may have changed. Your finances may have changed. Things are going to change, and that's why it's so important. It's not a one-time event where you sign a will or sign a trust and then you're done for life. It's a living process, and the bottom line is we want to make sure that we have an estate plan that's going to work for us at the time that you need it, either at the time of disability or incapacity or at the time of your passing, to make sure that you have an estate plan that's going to work when you need it to work.
One thing you talk a lot about, Barry, the Siegel Law Group, is bloodline planning. And of course, when people hear that, the first thought I think comes to most men is, oh yeah, I don't want my wife's ex-husband and his kids to get everything. And I'll just tell you a quick story, then you can give some detail. Steve doesn't like this story because it's very depressing, but I'll tell it to the audience, Steve. They haven't heard this. Steve's father was a very, very wealthy man. And remember, Steve went to the same high school as President Kennedy, right? And Steve's father, that's right. And Steve's father, being a very wealthy man, had a very, very young wife, who younger than Steve, his siblings. And Steve's father didn't set things up. He passed away. His very young wife inherited everything. And even though she was young, she died not long after. And all these relatives that you never met from the young wife, Steve, they got all your dad's money, not you and your siblings. This is something that doesn't have to happen, right, Barry?
It doesn't. You hear stories all the time. When you hear of celebrities passing away, you hear these stories where they have huge estates, they have ongoing estates that are bringing in money, and they just do not do proper estate planning. And it's so important to make sure that you have that correct bloodline planning. What we're really talking about here when we talk about the bloodline, making sure that you leave the assets in a way so that the correct beneficiaries do receive the assets and the unintended heirs do not. So for example, if you leave your assets to your spouse and then to your children, but you leave it to your children, but you leave it to them outright in their own name, then there can be a problem, because that child could be married, have a spouse, whose assets can be commingled with that spouse, and if that were to happen, we know the divorce rate is very high. It's over 50%. So if the beneficiary were to get divorced, half of those assets, if they're commingled with the spouse, would end up going to the future ex-husband or future ex-wife. And that is typically not what people want when they come in to see the attorney to do their estate planning, to make sure that their son or daughter's future ex-spouse ends up with half of everything. They wanted it to go down to their grandchildren, but because it was not set up properly, it did not go that way, and half of it went to the ex-spouse. But the other thing that can happen is, what happens if the same thing happens, the assets are left to the beneficiary, and they're commingled with the spouse, but instead of a divorce, the child predeceases their spouse. And that spouse could be a first spouse, second spouse, may not even be the parent of the grandchildren. And now those assets can end up going to the spouse, not the child or the client's grandchild. And then what happens? That widow ends up getting remarried, and they may die next. Now it ends up going to some third party, somebody who's replacing your own child, and it's going to end up with that person's children, not your grandchildren. That's why it's so important to make sure that your estate planning documents are reviewed regularly, at least every 3 years, to make sure that issues such as this, and there are a lot of other issues, not just the bloodline planning, but there are many other reasons why an estate plan may not work properly, and that's a big one, though.
You know, yeah, and I imagine that when there's an inheritance and things aren't set up properly with bloodline planning with the Siegel Law Group, and your kids get, I bet you the divorce rate among kids is sky high, that you got a windfall of money, husband, wife, that this is our time, and then everything's split. There's also some things, because you know, Steve and I have been to many of your workshops, and when you hear Barry Siegel talk about a workshop with the Siegel Law Group, which are completely free, you should go. There's one scenario that I've heard you talk about quite a bit, is if someone doesn't have things set up properly like you do through a revocable living trust, it opens the inheritance up to lawsuits.
Yeah, well, the same concept with the bloodline planning. If you leave the assets to the child, let's suppose they're not even married. We're not even concerned about whether they end up losing half of it in a divorce or all of it goes sideways because people died in the wrong order and got remarried. But what happens if our child ends up getting sued? And you know what? When somebody receives a windfall of money, whether it's an inheritance or through a lawsuit, or winning the lottery, let's say. But here, of course, we're talking about an inheritance. Somebody receives an inheritance, guess what? They could have a target on their back. Anybody out there who has money is going to realize and know, and hopefully not through experience, but when you have assets, there are people out there are fortune hunters out there who know that, and they're going to go after deep pockets. They'll find a reason. They'll find a reason to sue you and to go after those assets, because what ends up happening with most people, when they get sued, at some point, they're going to end up settling, and these fortune hunters know that. So that's why it's important, if we leave the assets to our children, we want to leave it in a way where it's protected. That same bloodline protection can protect it from those fortune hunter lawsuits and creditors as well.
Yeah, and you know, people don't sue people that don't have money. When they come into a windfall of money through an inheritance, all of a sudden they become, you know, the kind of person that gets sued. There's a situation in my own family. I have an uncle that inherited my grandparents' house. This is in the 1970s. He got divorced in 1978 and had a brilliant divorce settlement where he wanted his wife to be able to, his ex-wife, to stay in the house to raise their child until she got married. Well, here we are. That was 1978. It's 2022. She's never remarried, and she's been living in my grandparents' house since 1978. These are some of the things that you factor in, Barry, right?
Yeah, you have to look at all of these issues.
That's true.
And it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. So when people come in to do a consultation, and our consultations, for your listeners, of course, are free consultations, we do a comprehensive job. The first thing we do is we ask our potential new clients who are coming in for the free consultation to fill out a questionnaire. And the questionnaire, I know it could take a few minutes, it could take half an hour or so, but really the important thing is for us to be able to understand your situation, to understand your family dynamics, to understand your estate, to understand your goals, so that the estate plan can be customized to make sure that it's meeting the needs of you and your family.
Now, I think most people, when they hear trust, they think of rich people like the Kennedys and the Trumps, and of course, trust are for rich people. But you see the protections, like Ted Kennedy is driving cars off bridges and killing women, and he still has his family fortune protected because they have that Kennedy trust. But trusts aren't just for rich people. Trusts are for middle class and working people too, right, Barry?
Yeah, trusts are for anybody who needs what the benefits of the trust bring to them. So there's a lot of times I get asked a question: is there a bright line number? If I have X amount of dollars, does that mean I need a trust? And if I'm below that, do I need a will? That's really not the way we look at it. I mean, there are plenty of people that we will suggest a will-based plan for them, but it's really about what it does for you. So, as I mentioned just a moment ago, we do a comprehensive questionnaire, and one of the things we do is we ask, what are your goals? And for example, if somebody checks off that their goal is to avoid probate, well, certainly we may end up talking about a trust. While there are other possible ways to avoid probate, we have to look at that and see if it makes sense whether to do a trust or whether to look at those other options. But we'll also look at some of the other goals out there. One of the ones that is listed on the questionnaire is, are you concerned about your children losing the inheritance to a divorce or a lawsuit or a creditor, or if they die in the wrong order, what we just talked about with the bloodline? If they check that off, certainly that's going to be an important reason why they may want to consider doing their plan based on doing a trust. If they're concerned about what happens if they become incapacitated or leave their spouse who later becomes incapacitated, and we want to avoid guardianship, it may be an important reason to do a trust as well.
Now, it's always a free consultation with the Siegel Law Group. If you mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the Steve Kane Show, yeah. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that we do, because when we provide a client with their trust and their wills and their powers of attorney and all their healthcare documents, it's not just the documents. They get an owner's manual, and you have this, Steve, and I'll go over it with you. But there's a section in it for memorial instructions. We have a document in there called Final Disposition Instructions, where you can list what your wishes are as far as burial or cremation, where you made your arrangements, who is to be in charge of following through on your wishes. There's also even a section, some people want to plan their own funeral, in that they can list whether they want particular clergy, music, scriptures, and things like that. So we really go in depth on that, so that to make sure that the people who are in charge know exactly what your wishes were, what arrangements you made. And we even suggest leaving a copy of your contract with the funeral company in that section, because we've heard stories of people who actually did pre-arrangements. The family didn't know it, nobody knew where it was, and they actually had to go and buy when they already did pre-need.
Wow. Without mentioning any names, Steve, disclaimer, someone that Steve and I know passed away and had made arrangements that were very nice, that they put a lot of money into, and they passed, and the family knew, and they sold that place and put them somewhere that was El Cheapo, where they did not want to go. And I think that's what Steve's talking about. Don't worry, Steve. Barry will take care of you, and I'm the trustee. We'll have the King's Jubilee. Now, again, let me give Attorney Barry Siegel's number. It is a completely free consultation with the Siegel Law Group, but you got to mention you heard Barry on the radio. The number is 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. We're going to take a break, come back with the Gold Report, and after that, Barry, we got to talk about Medicaid planning in our final minutes. All right, guys, we'll be right back. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve is with us. I'm Brian, and Attorney Barry Siegel is live in studio. We'll take our break and be back with the Gold Report right after this break.
Listen to the Uncle High Show. Afternoons on WWNN Talk Radio.
Oh, where am I?
You're listening to WWNN Pompano Beach, 1470 AM, 95.3 in Boca, 96.9 in Lauderhill. The talk of South Florida.
Now, we're only going to have like maybe 5 minutes for the end.
I'm also, at some point in there, mention the 2 seminars coming.
Yeah, let's do that at the end. I'll bring it up to you. Hey there.
With our promo code Kane, K-A-N-E at checkout, buy one, get free pricing on MyPillow bed sheets.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and edit it, and we'll have it as a show to run like on days we're off and things like that.
Kind of like a commercial or
It'll be like a 20, 25 minute thing. Yeah, show.
K-A-N-E at checkout or call toll free 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879.
Oh, yeah, they're all great, yeah. Well, my daughter's in California. It was my wife's first Mother's Day with our daughter out of town, so my daughter's moving to California, so, yeah, Los Angeles. 23. I know, right?
My son just graduated college at 22.
Yeah, it's scary.
And my daughter's about to graduate.
And use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E.
Oh, my goodness. All right, and it is time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the first look at the gold and precious metals market for the week. William Youngerman, how the metals look today?
Metals are down, but so is everything else. In fact, in comparison, gold is up 2% for the year, while the stock market and Bitcoin are down over 30%, or right around 30%. So gold continuing to hold its value as the only real source of wealth anymore, because it's got that 5,000 years of history that says this is real money. Gold Friday closed out the week up $6.20 at $1,883.10. Silver was down 13 cents at $22.34, while platinum was down $25 on Friday, closing out the week at $9.56. And palladium was down $147 at $1,972 the ounce. Gold this morning down $17.10, as I said, on a weaker stock market, and it's poised to open almost 500 points lower. And Bitcoin down 20% since last week, down to $33,000 right now from last week's $36,000 or $39,000. And stocks are again poised to be down another almost 500 points today. Oil down, and yet the markets everything is down, including with the exception of palladium, up $3. Gold down $17.10 right now at $1,866, but well above our strong support area of $1,850. Silver down 49 cents at $21.85. Platinum down $11 at $9.45, and palladium is up $3 right now at $1,975 the ounce. That's pretty much where we're starting.
Yeah, well, I look at it a different way. I don't see the metals down. I see the metals are on sale today, is the way I look at it, and there's some great prices and a great opportunity. Now, William Youngerman, they open up weekdays at 10 a.m. You can stop right in, located here in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. You can find them online at williamyoungerman.com or give them a call. Toll free, 800-327-5010, 800-327-5010. All right, William Youngerman, we will talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
You too. Take care. All right, we have attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group in studio with Steve. Oh. Really? Does that include Lurch and Liberal Al, the John, Steve? Oh, my. Well, yeah. All right. Okay. See, Steve doesn't mind them being there because you won't be, awake for that a party, I guess. That's why you don't mind. That's true. That's true. So now, Attorney Barry Siegel's with us. One thing I want to mention before I forget, Barry, because I think this is something that makes you very, very unique. You know, I've got an attorney with my HOA who's, oh boy, that's another type of human. But I can always call him and get him on the phone, and I didn't realize this. I can get my HOA attorney on the phone on a dime, day or night, 7 days a week, and I realize he charges the HOA like $150 every time someone calls, so he loves taking calls all day. But at the Siegel Law Group, you know, your clients, you don't charge them to make calls to your office.
Right, that's part of our service package. As I mentioned earlier, we do free reviews every 3 years, which of course is part of that. But also we don't charge our clients for phone calls. And there's a reason for that. We've all been there. We've all gotten a bill in the mail from an attorney, from an accountant, or some other professional where we called in, we had a quick call, a quick question. The next thing we know, we get a bill for 0.2, 0.3 hours, and we're like, oh my God, I couldn't, you know. And then what's that going to do? It's going to deter you from calling and getting your question answered. And after people do their estate planning,
my iPhone and my phone went dead during the stream. That's what happened. So that's why the stream ended early. But sorry guys. But hey, thanks for watching. Sometimes these things happen, right? Oh boy. Make sure you like the video, and if you're new, subscribe. All right. Take care, everyone. I'll talk to you.